we have in the Premiership. 2 more games for the weekend. Hearts against Motherwell. We'll have updates from that one. Team news to come from there, but let's kick off with team news from here at Pittodrie. It is bright, sunny, and the 2 sets of players are out doing their warm-up ahead of this one. Full live commentary to come. The team news from Thomas Duncan.
Afternoon, Richard. Positively tropical here, sitting in a t-shirt. Definitely didn't expect this one, but this is another huge game in the Premiership this afternoon. Aberdeen and Hibernian, 2 of our biggest clubs, winless in their opening 3 games. The last time Aberdeen failed to win any of their first 3 matches was in 2011-12 under the late Craig Brown, and already Hibs, their worst start to a league campaign for 21 years. They could equal the run of 4 straight defeats at the start of the 02-03 season under Bobby Williamson if they don't up their game here. Aberdeen make 2 changes from the defeat by the Swedish champions Häcken on Thursday night. So Angus MacDonald comes in to the back 3. That allows Nicky Devlin to shift out to his more natural right wing back berth, and it's Shayden Morris who drops out of the side. And then also in midfield, Leighton Clarkson has been struggling with a bit of a calf strain, so he drops to the bench, and in comes Connor Barron, just his second start for Aberdeen in 2023, the last one in May against Hearts post split at Tynecastle. Aberdeen of course losing that game, so Aberdeen line up with Kellerus in goal, the back 3 of McDonald, Rubezic, Jensen, with Devlin right wing back, James McGarry, who impressed on Thursday night on the left hand side, Shinnie, Barron and Jamie McGrath in midfield, and Duke and Miofsky continue up front. On the bench it's Duhan, McKenzie, Clarkson, new signing Papa Habib Gueye, the Senegalese striker who's joined from KV Kortrijk in Belgium, played in Norway previously as well. Johnny Hayes on the bench, Esther Sockler, Shayden Morris, Dante Povara and Ryan Duncan. As for Hibs, they make 3 changes from the second leg defeat in the Conference League playoff to Aston Villa. Looks like a change of shape as well to a 4-2-3-1. We'll see how that shapes up when the game gets underway, but it's Marshall in goal, Lewis Miller, Will Fish, Hanlon and Stevenson at the back as Rocky Bashiri drops out for Will Fish. Jordan Obita, who came off injured at Villa Park, he's another one to drop out, as is Christian Doidge up top. Boyle and Vente are the other 2 to come in. So the midfield, James Jeggo, Joe Newell, with Josh Campbell just ahead of them in midfield. He scored 5 of his 9 goals last season against Aberdeen, including a hat-trick in that 6-0 thrashing at Easter Road in February, which marked the end of Jim Goodwin's spell in charge. So he'll play in behind Vente with the pace of Boyle and Yuan on either side. The bench for Hibs, Boruc, the goalkeeper, Adam Lafondra, Christian Doidge, Riley Harbottle, Alan Del Ferrier, Rocky Bashiri, Rudy Molotnikov, Ruben McAllister and Kaneo Megwa, and the referee is David Monroe, and the VAR here at Pittodrie this afternoon, Stephen Kirkland.
Thomas, thank you very much indeed. Willie Miller and John Hughes are here for commentary alongside Thomas. We'll get their thoughts in just a moment or 2. Hearts against Motherwell, there's Aberdeen against Hibernian. That's our live commentary. Going to hear first from Barry Robson, the Dons boss, chatting with Tyrone Smith.
Barry, a couple of changes to your team today, and Leighton Clarkson among the guys dropping onto the bench. Just explain your selection for the day.
Well, I think Leighton, over the last couple of days, he's really struggling with his calves, both his calves, after the intensity of the game the other night. So we've got to be careful with that. We cannot pick up a 5 or 6 week injury. So he's really important for us as the season goes on. And I think Connor Barron come in and give us fresh energy in there. He's a wonderful football player. He'll go on the ball, try and dictate the game. He's brave. So, yeah, he'll be a positive coming in there for us. But, yeah, we've got to be careful as well. We've taken in Angus MacDonald, a bit of experience. Nicky Devlin's moved to the other side, a bit wider. So we need a bit of experience as well after the other night. So that's just trying to adapt our squad. We're trying to use them as best we can. I think sometimes you might make more changes after a European game as it goes on, but a lot of these players are still getting up to speed, you know. Jensen started 1 game, he's just in the door. McGarry has, Gatman hasn't played a game yet, we've just got him in. Big Papi hasn't played a game for us yet. So we need a lot of time in the training pitch, but we need to learn on the job. That's what we'll need to do as we go. So, but no, we're in a good place. A brilliant performance the other night, and hopefully we can bring the same again today.
A good performance the other night, but not the result you wanted. I mean, are you able to guard against there being some sort of European hangover going into this one?
Well, I hope not, and there shouldn't be. I think you've seen with a lot of the Scottish teams that they have struggled a bit in Europe, but what I said to the players was no excuses. We've got to try and win this game today. We're home in front of home fans. The fixture list has been heavy for us. I think people need to understand that we've been away from home a lot in all our games. A lot of our games we've played, so which is never easy. But I think we're in a good place. I think think a lot of performance. We got a couple of points away on the road. It was difficult. We had a really good performance here against Celtic. So I think we're in a real good place, and you can see the team we've got is full of speed and energy, and we'll just get stronger as we go.
Just in terms of this game, these two teams that have ambitions to be playing up at the top end of the table, probably not had the start to the season in terms of points accumulation that they might have wanted. I mean, it does have the feel, even at this early stage of the season, of being a pretty big game.
No, not at all. Listen, we've had 2 away games in the league. We picked points, picked a draw up. We've not done in the past here, and we managed to do that. I mean, the home game against Celtic, who are the treble-winning champions, I thought we were unfortunate to lose the game. So, listen, we're not carried away. The window just shut yesterday. We've just started to get our players in. I'm really confident, and I think the fans should be. I think when they've watched us at home here and away in Hacken and seen the performances of the teams, yeah, we've not had the results we want, but we've got against some real top players. And we look in good shape. And one iffy performance, I would say, against St Mirren when you've not even got the full team in. So, we're all right. We'll get stronger and stronger.
Just a quick word about Hibs. Obviously, it's a Hibs team that have got an interim manager in at the moment, obviously a position you were in not so long ago. Do you think that'll have any impact on the game, and does it make it almost harder for you to prepare as to what you might be expecting to come up against today?
Yeah, I think so. You try to second guess what system they're going to play and how they're going to do it. I've got a fair idea what they will be now. And listen, it's never easy coming in as an interim manager, but he'll want to put his stamp on things, as they always do. So yeah, listen, it's always going to be a difficult game. They spent a lot of money at the top end of the pitch, so we know it's going to be difficult. But we need to try and bring our A game today, and hopefully we can try and get the 3 points. We're going for the win, and my biggest thing is the results will come. I know that. When I first came into this position, it took us a wee while to get up and running. And the results will come here, but as long as we can keep the performances up, we'll be happy. And as I said, the results will come.
Thanks a lot, Barry.
Barry Robson there with Tyrone Smith. I think it's fair to say, Willie, that Barry's glass is very much half full, isn't it?
I thought it was overflowing, to be perfectly honest with you. On the games that I've been witnessing this season, I think there has been a number of good points, and I'm quite bullish about the squad that he is amassing here at Pittodrie, but there has been some poor performances and poor performances at certain times in the games as well. Livy and St Mirren, I think very, very poor performances, to be honest. The first half against Hacken, poor. Second half, very, very good. At Pittodrie again in the return leg, I thought the game was there to win, but I thought the approach was very open. And I don't expect him to do that this afternoon. The three, he played 3 centre backs against Hacken's 3 forwards, which was probably the best kind of a section of their team. Lione and Hurstich and Sadiq was outstanding, and all I could see was the centre backs getting dragged all over the place, and they did lose that game and that tie as well.
So it's one win out of 6. It's one win out of 6 this season, and that was a narrow League Cup win at Stirling Albion, which I listened to you guys in the commentary, and it sounded like it was backs against the wall for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes, that's my memory.
It's just a Barry's talking about. We're in a really good place, and it's great that he's feeling positive and optimistic.
Yeah. I don't think they're there yet. Yeah. That's what I would say. I think there's a lot of question marks. There's been a lot of good in some of the performances, but there's been a lot of poor play as well, and some unconvincing performances and results. And they are down there 2 points, and they're playing against a team who have 0 points this afternoon. So it's huge for both clubs. I think if Aberdeen don't take the points today, then I don't think Barry can say it's been a good start to the season. I think he would have to turn around and say, well, it's been disappointing. But the squad, he's been backed by the board, the chairman, undisclosed fees, Richard, all over the place. I just wish I knew how much money would have been spent in, the transfer. 13 new players through the door, I believe, unless I've missed.
Yes, I think 13, I think it is. Yeah.
13 new players as well. So there's a lot there to work with. I think he is bullish. I'm quite bullish about it as well. But for me, it's still got to be proven on the field of play.
Right, we'll get John's thoughts in just a moment or two. Let's hear from David Gray, the man currently in charge of Hibernian.
David, first of all, you made a few changes to your team today. Just give us your thinking behind your selection for this one.
I think it's just a little bit of freshness as well. You know, we've got a really good squad. All the players are itching and ready to go, so it's just a couple of different things we wanted to try, and with a quick turnaround in games we were able to make a few changes for that.
It's still very early days in the season, but when this fixture and the start that the two teams have made to the league season, both teams with ambitions of being up the other end of the table, does it seem pretty important?
I think they're always important games. So these are teams that, you know, Aberdeen are expected to be right up there again, as are ourselves. So these are all games that we always expect a real tough game when we come up here, and today's no different. You know, we've talked about a poor start domestically. Yes, we know we need to improve on that, but this is a great opportunity for us. You know, the incentive's there. If we win the game today, we can go above Aberdeen, and that's the mindset going into the game.
You obviously took the reins for about a week now. What changes have you made kind of behind the scenes, whether it's on the training ground or approach going into this game, that you felt needed to be made?
No, to be honest, it's because of the amount of games. It's been about recovery. It's been about, to be honest, the reaction from the players and them staying together and believing in what they do every single day, and just trying to make sure that they've got the confidence that we're fully behind them to go and express themselves and try and be the best version of themselves. That's the most important thing.
I think I saw some quotes in the papers from Christian Doidge, and he was talking about there was almost a cup final mentality going into this game. I mean, is that the kind of message you've been to them going, treat this as a one-off, get the result, then we can all take stock in the break?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's such a big game. As you say, there's a break after this one, so it's hanging at something like 12 games in the last 6 weeks. So there's been a lot of games, ones that have been brilliant for the football club to play in. You know, with a great run in Europe in terms of the level of opposition we've played against, the nights we've had at Easter Road, and the away fans travelling all over the place. We're through in the next round of the Cup, which is very important to the club as well. And today, as I say, if we can go and get 3 points today, we can then take stock after this.
It's been a whirlwind week, I would imagine, for yourself. How's it been? Have you enjoyed it?
I've not really had time to think about it, to be honest. Again, that'll come after today, once the dust settles and we find out exactly what's happening moving forward. But my full focus has only been on the 2 games. With such a quick turnaround, there's not been, as you say, much time to do the things we've wanted to do a lot on the grass. So it's been a lot of meetings and a lot of conversations that way, and it's been a bit full on. But after this weekend, we've got time to readjust and find out what's happening from there.
And just in terms of the game itself and maybe your own ambitions in terms of maybe getting the job in a permanent, how important do you think today's game is from that regard?
It's the same situation for me. Nothing changes. I've got a job to do, which is to prepare the team the best I can. I know it's the same line I keep using, but it is my only thoughts at the moment. The club have asked me to do this at the minute, and my future will be decided in the coming days, weeks, months, whenever the club decide to change what I'm doing at the moment.
Just a final one. What are you expecting from Aberdeen today?
Very good side. They're very aggressive the way they play. Always a tough day when we come up here. We're fully expecting that, so the lads are ready for it. They know what's coming. They know it's going to be a battle first and foremost. They're a good side, and one thing's for sure, we know we need to be our best to make sure we get the right result.
All the best today.
Thank you very much.
David Gray in temporary charge of the team that he has. So of course he's represented with great pride, and just a big man when it comes to Hibernian, what he's achieved for them. Big challenge for them this afternoon. John Hughes, is it one you feel they can take on and get out of this slough of despond that they've been in?
Yeah, well, one thing he has done, he's been very aggressive in his approach to his team selection in terms of Ventes up front with the 2 wingers, with Johan on one side and Boyle on the other side. That might pin Aberdeen's pack 5 back the park, as what happened the other night there, but it's all about Josh Campbell for me in terms of where does he play. Does he play behind Vente in that number 10, or does Jago sit in midfield and Josh Campbell plays right midfield? But I really am looking forward to it. I've not seen Hibs this year, so I really am looking forward to it. And you can only wish David all the best. You know, as you say, he's a legend at the football club, rightly so. And if they're getting results, then that'll certainly help his cause to get the job.
We'll find out whether he can lead his side to pick up their first points of the season here at Pittodrie this afternoon, and indeed what the Hibernian board are thinking when it comes to who will be next in that Hibernian hot seat. Quickly to the one other game this afternoon. Remember already we've brought you Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Kyogo, the match winner once again, his 3rd of the season to earn Brendan Rodgers' side all 3 points. A couple of changes, Willie, for the home side. Interesting to see the re-emergence in the starting lineup of Conor Barron.
Yes, it is. I mean, he's a very decent player and can be influential in that midfield area. Probably just sitting, I would think, in the midfield area and trying to get on the ball, always being that valve there, and an option for perhaps a wing backs or the other two midfield players getting forward. He'll sit a little bit deeper. I think he will be disappointed that he hasn't seen more starts this year, probably, but now's his opportunity, a little bit like that John Scales, Richard. He gets his opportunity, so he's got to make sure that he goes ahead and takes it. He's more than capable of doing that. I'm not surprised that Angus MacDonald comes in as well. I think they want to be a little bit more solid at the back. I can't see them going toe to toe again, with the Hibs front three. They've got Nicky Devlin, they've got James McGarry, more defensively minded than the other options, so I would expect them at times to be in defensive duty to make sure that it is tight at the back. So the two changes I don't think are weakening the side, although I do like Leighton Clarkson. I think he is a wonderful talent.
It's another big crowd inside Pittodrie, not quite the what was given as a full house on Thursday night when Aberdeen lost out to BK Hacken, but it is a very decent attendance this Sunday afternoon. Good support up from the capital to follow Hibernian as well, as the two captains, Graham Shinney and Paul Hanlon, lead their teams out to the halfway line. Highlights of today's three matches, 7:15, BBC Scotland channel, that's Sports Scene. Listen out in the week ahead. The Scottish Football Podcast, it's published daily, Monday to Friday, wherever you get your podcasts. SWPL highlights, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on BBC Scotland channel. And then next Friday, Cyprus against Scotland. It's live on Sports, and the big qualifier will be on from 6 o'clock on Friday night, with the highlights a little bit later on the telly. As for today, we've already brought you live commentary from the south side of Glasgow, where Celtic were 1-0 winners against Rangers, thanks to Kyogo Furuhashi scoring in first half stoppage time. The highlights of that to come tonight. The highlights too from Tynecastle Hearts against Motherwell, from Pittodrie Aberdeen against Hibernian, and that's our live commentary match here on Sports Sound right now, with Willie Miller, John Hughes and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Another big game in the Premiership this Sunday. Two of Scotland's biggest clubs, Aberdeen and Hibernian, both still searching for their first league wins of the season. Barry Robson talking very positively pre-match, but the reality is it's just one win in 6 games this season, 2 in their last 11 since beating Rangers here back in April, stretching back to last season. They need to start getting results to go with some flashes of good performances. And I've seen very much goes for Hibernian already. A manager down with Lee Johnson departing. No wins on the board, rock bottom of the table. There's been investment in this squad. The consensus is they've got quality, certainly middle to front. And it's time that they as well started showing what they're all about. It is a beautiful day here in the Granite City. Very warm, and the players will have the work cut out in this heat as Aberdeen prepare to take a kick-off. Shooting from left to right as we stand in the main stand towards the Merkland Road end, where the ultras are crouched making a racket. Aberdeen get things underway as Jamie McGrath just lashes it forward straight to Lewis Stevenson. Aberdeen with Roos in goal, McDonald, Rubizic, Jensen back three, Devlin and McGarry the wing back, Shinney, Barron, McGrath midfield, Miofsky and Duke up front. Hibs with Marshall in goal, back four of Fish, Hanlon, Stevenson, Miller, midfield of Jago, Newell and Campbell, and then Boyle and Yuan either side of Dylan Vente, the Dutchman, up front. Willie Miller alongside me.
Can I say I'm baffled with that kick-off? Aberdeen lined up with 4 players on the left-hand side. Put it back to McGrath, who played it to the one player on the right-hand side, and he didn't actually pass it to him either. He just gave possession away to Hibs. That's quite incredible. I wonder what the thought was behind that.
Then it was a lazy swipe of the ball from Jamie McGrath, and here's David Marshall with the ball in his gloves in his own box, flings it out to the far side, right-hand side with Lewis Miller back in the right-back berth. He was very much unfavoured by Lee Johnson before he felt he had to throw him in at right back when Alan Delferrier, the midfielder, deputised there and didn't do too well, as you might expect. Header won by McDonald to McGrath. Aberdeen cross halfway. Come forward, here's Shinney, 25 yards out to Duke. McGrath chopping into the middle, header from Devlin inside the 6-yard box, flick of the neck muscles, and he's put it over the bar. What a chance.
It was. I mean, it looked as though it was going to nestle in the back of the net there. It was good play. McGrath to start, well, Duke to McGrath, and then McGrath on the byline, managing to get the cross in, and Devlin coming in from the right hand side. He's right in the penalty area there. He's only about 4 or 5 yards out. He gets his head on it, but it somehow comes off the top of his head and goes over the crossbar. Big opportunity early in the game, going a begging for Aberdeen.
Well, Nicky Devlin showed, even when he was playing at right centre half, he's very keen to get forward. Scored, of course, away in Hacken his first Aberdeen goal. The equaliser as Graham Shinney is fouled by Joe Newell on halfway, and Aberdeen will get a free kick. They take it quickly through Barron, but the referee, David Monroe, isn't happy, and it wasn't taken on the spot, and he is going to send this one back. John Hughes looking forward to seeing what Hibs can do this afternoon.
Yeah, I certainly am, especially Venti up front. You know, I've heard a lot about him. He's technically very good. He can score goals, and I'm just looking at the shape. It's Josh Campbell that's playing behind him, another one that has got a habit of scoring goals. So, as I said before the game, very adventurous from David Gray.
Switch out to the right hand side, and Devlin, Lewis Stevenson marshalled them closely and got a good challenge in on the byline, manages to keep the ball in, plays it up to Yuan, who's midway through his own half. He's tackled by Rubezic, and it'll be an Aberdeen throw which Nicky Devlin will take, and he flings it to Duke, and the ball doesn't reach Duke because Jimmy Jego read it, came across and cleared back out on this near side. Rubezic rolls it to Devlin to take, and well, Hibs not got a great record at Pittodrie, not won on their last 4 visits here, just 1 win in 14. Not a place they like to come, and it is Aberdeen who've been on the front foot in the first few minutes. Here's McGrath, receives a throw in. Shinney, right hand corner of the box, takes a touch infield. McGrath picks up, he's going to work the space for a shot. No, he goes for the little pass, but it's cut out by Hibernian, and there's 2 Aberdeen players. Shinney and McGrath run into each other, and there's a foul as well.
Yeah, I have to say, Thomas, even watching the game on television on Wednesday night, I was really impressed with Aberdeen's energy levels, and I'm saying to myself today, can they reach these levels again? We'll soon find out.
Well, one of Barry Robson's buzzwords is speed. He likes speed and energy in his team. He's certainly a physical side he's assembled when you just look at them lining up on the pitch. A lot of big players out there, and it's going to be a throw in to Aberdeen down deep in their own territory as they look to get forward. Pittodrie bathed in sunshine, glorious day here. Throw up the line, Hibs win it through Stevenson, drops for Jego midway through the Aberdeen half, goes down under the challenge of Miofsky, and he gets the free kick, much to Bojan Miofsky's fury.
He bought the free kick there. It's not a free kick. I mean, he's diving before there's any contact, so I think that in itself tells you the story. But they have got that free kick. It gives Hibs an early opportunity to put it into the box, John.
Yeah, and they're big. If you look at them, you know, with Hanlon in there, Fish in there, you know, you're talking about 6'2", 6'3".
It's going to be Newell with the left foot. Oh no, he dummies it, leaves it for Boyle with the right foot into the middle of the edge of the 6-yard box. It's very central, and it's headed away by Aberdeen. Barron then plays it up the line to Duke, who's just over the halfway line. He's going to keep it in on this near touch line. He's running at Lewis Stevenson. He's not got much support, Duke, and he puts the head down and crosses, but falls for Shinney on the edge of the box. Dummies, forced to twist back, and then a good strong tackle from Jimmy Jego, and then another big tackle goes in from McGarry to win it back midway through the Hibs half. Spread out to Duke, right hand corner of the box. He's got space to cross. Duke, it's deflected off Lewis Stevenson, and it came back off Duke, so that'll be a Hibs throw in.
Yeah, Thomas, that Duke played in down the right, and he cut it back in the edge of the box. It fell to Shinney. Lo and behold, it's on his right foot. That's for standing on. He tried to switch it on his left, and he got caught on it.
Indeed he did. Hibs, Duke opted to just put his head down and cross that. I thought he might have had a little run at Lewis Stevenson because it was one-on-one down this right-hand side. Throw into Hibs towards Yuan, won by Devlin. Miofsky controls on the chest. Good challenge from Hanlon. Up to Venti. Flicks around the corner for Yuan, but it's back by Rubezic. Header by Fish up to midway through his own half. Barron got a touch on it, but it's just very scrappy, and eventually Venti comes away with it, crosses halfway, gives it to Yuan on this left-hand side for Hibs. He's thinking about running it. Devlin goes inside. He's got 3 red shirts around him, and eventually Devlin makes a good sliding tackle, and then he's played it up the right-hand touchline, but Duke is not going to get there. Paul Hanlon gets there first and plays it back to David Marshall. 0-0, 7 played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, that's going to be a real battle today, Johan against Devlin. You don't get much change out of Devlin, but Johan, you know, he's got the ability. If he's on his game, you know, he can be the match winner.
Absolutely. Did just that out in Luzerne. Goal and fantastic assist.
It'll be interesting to see the tactics though, John. You know, if you look at Aberdeen now, although they set up with the 3 at the back, it's now 4 because of the way that Hibs play with the 2 wide players and the one through the middle. And there's a question mark there where McGarry goes, but McGarry seems to be in almost in the midfield position with Jensen playing almost left back.
Yeah, and they've matched it up in midfield. You know, so once again, tactics something that can win you a game, but it's basically, it's, you know, that individual or a bit of skill, a bit of magic. You know, if you're always in the game, who can come up with the goods?
Hanlon tries a long switch out to the right-hand side with a left foot, but Boyle was infield and it was asking a lot of him, even with his pace to get there. Throw into Aberdeen on the far side. Goalless as we approach the 8th minute mark here at Pittodrie. Both sides desperate for that first Premiership win of the season, and it's been lively. McGarry's flick on, Duke tries to control it, but Fish gets in with a little prod forward up to halfway, and then Newell's battling with Shinnie, and the Hibs midfielder's going to get the free kick, I think.
He should actually stop it. Because he impedes Shinnie. The referee impedes Shinnie.
Yeah.
So surely he's got to stop the play when that happens.
Yeah, a bounce ball,
And I'm sure that's what Graham Shinnie is pointing out to the ref.
Yeah, it was a bounce ball, and it's come back to Hanlon. Fish, Hibs with the ball at the back. No clean sheet this season in 10 games for Hibernian. That has been their Achilles heel. Keeping the ball out the net. They've scored plenty, albeit not against the might of Aston Villa in the Conference League, but I think you can let them off with that one, given the financial disparity and therefore quality disparity between those sides. As Yuan has a little flick as he receives the ball just inside his own half, and he's tripped by Devlin. That'll be a Hibernian free kick just inside their own half. And Hibernian, well, they've not had a lot of ball in Aberdeen's territory so far. That one free kick really, which didn't come to anything. This is a chance to try and get their foot on the ball as Newell prods it back to Hanlon, who's played nearly every game this season already. Left foot, switch of play right out to Boyle on the right hand touchline. Boyle jumps and gets a head on it, and he's going to keep it in at the second attempt, and gets the foul off McGarry, who looks utterly bemused at the linesman. Flag went up straight away, and it's going to be a Hibs free kick up towards the corner flag on the right hand side.
Yeah, that's great play from Boyle, because as you say, it was a great diagonal, but he was struggling to keep it in play. He got his head on it and used his physical presence just to bump McGarry. Buys himself a free kick.
Yeah, Newell and Boyle will debate as to who's going to take this from the far side. Hibs got plenty of bodies in the box. Yuan's in there, Fish, Hanlon, Stevenson's back, Jego's on the edge of the area, and it's going to be the left foot of Joe Newell to whip this in right on top of Kel Roos. There's a header just over the bar. Will Fish, I think, got his forehead on that one, and that was a good chance for Hibs.
Yeah, certainly Will Fish has got his hands on his head there. As you say, it's all about their delivery. If you put that in, then Hibs have got a chance of scoring. I see them causing real problems today at any kind of set piece, as long as the quality into the box is very, very good.
Listen, it's a good cross into the box, but dearie me, it's the biggest, tallest man in the field probably. He's got to be picked up. Somebody's got to make a physical challenge with him. That doesn't happen. He gets a header. He's disappointed that he doesn't get it in target. It just goes over the bar.
Well, Kel Roos has just shelled his goal kick on top of the Pittodrie dugouts in front of us, and he did have a couple of those against Hacken on Thursday night where his distribution wasn't the best. There's a bit of a breeze, but no real excuse for that one. It's now back with the Hibs keeper David Marshall. He's got the ball at the edge of the D, and Duke goes to close him down, and the former Scotland keeper launches it long. Rubizic is underneath it, heads it up. Campbell gets his head on it, finds Yuan, takes a touch, just about keeps it in, and then Rubizic came across to make the challenge, out for a throw-in on this left-hand side for Hibs. Stevenson looks for options. Stevenson throws in, gets it back from Campbell, gives it to Yuan. He's under pressure, Barron gets a foot in, and then it's cleared down into the Hibs half. Hanlon picks up. No real patterns of play or teams getting their foot on the ball regularly at this moment in time, Willie?
Well, I think Aberdeen will be disappointed that they haven't had control of the ball in the game, to be perfectly honest. I think Hibs are looking the calmer and the more composed. So far it is still early in the game, right enough, but I would have expected Aberdeen to try to play the high tempo, high press game and take the game to Hibs. That certainly hasn't happened.
Here's Stevenson, takes it from Yuan's throat. He's got a little bit of space. Stevenson thinks about the cross, checks back inside, gives it to Yuan, who's up towards the edge of the Aberdeen box, but he loses out, and here's Miofsky coming away from it. He goes round Joe Newell, who gets back and puts a good challenge in. In fact, it's not a good challenge according to the referee David Monroe. No, it is a good challenge. It looked like he'd blown the whistle there, but it's play on. Hibs have it with the back with Jego. That was a good tackle from Joe Newell, got back after he'd been beaten initially by Miofsky. And here's Fish, switch of play, and Yuan's gone in behind. He's run off the shoulder of Rubezic, who's turned, and then Yuan goes down under the auspices of Rubezic. It didn't look an awful lot in it, but again Aberdeen just a little bit suspect at the back there. Now Hibs under pressure. Marshall closed down by Miofsky, just squeezed the pass along the byline to Hanlon, who then clears upfield. A glimpse of both teams' unconvincing defending inside a minute there. Still goalless as we approach the 13th minute here at Pittodrie. Here's Rubezic up to halfway. Barron on his second start of the year, and he's looking for a run of what never came from one of the front two. Not sure he had a look there, Connor Barron. Gives the ball away and Marshall collects. 0-0.
No, it was a poor pass forward. There wasn't anyone there. He's put it into an area, but there wasn't a red jersey in sight. I think Rubezic a little bit uncertain there. Listen, he gets away with it. There is a bit of contact, with Johan. It's not a penalty, but at the same time, it's a little bit concerning, I think, from an Aberdeen point of view, that he didn't deal with it more efficiently.
Yeah, McDonald header out. McGrath, good touch. It's played back to Jensen. He finished centre half. An unconvincing pass back to McDonald, who has to go back to Roos. Takes a touch on his right foot, and then this time it is a good pass out to Devlin, who flicks it on. Shinnie will chase, but he's eased out the way by Newell, and that allows Hanlon to come in. But yeah, Rubezic obviously gave away that penalty for the third goal for Haken. He's showed some good things, but he looks like someone who sometimes loses his composure as he wins the header comfortably there ahead of Yuan. Again, it's all very head tennis. If it's scrappy in the middle of the park as Newell pops one back to Hanlon in centre half. Then Campbell is dropped very deep midway through his own half. It's spread out to Miller on the right hand side, closed down by McGarry. Deflected into the middle of the pitch. Barron with a header forward. Jego goes up. Now it's to the feet of Newell, who's got a bit of space to put his foot on the ball, but immediately swamped by two red shirts, and Shinnie is penalised, much to the fury of the home fans. And David Monroe didn't hesitate, felt there was a pull there by Shinnie.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been, I couldn't see it, to be perfectly honest.
Just a wee tug.
Yeah. It is a scrappy game though, isn't it? I think Hibs are looking the more...
Yeah, especially keeping the ball in their own half. They need to be a little bit better in the final third and, keep it up in Aberdeen's half. I'm just looking at the tactics, and for the other night there, Devlin will push on to Lewis Stevenson, fullback. He's playing that half and half shift, and it's the same over on the other side. So they just have to be very, very careful, Aberdeen.
And here's a long switch from Hanlon out to Boyle, who tussles with McGarry, and he's won it brilliantly. Martin Boyle keeps in on the touchline, and now he's racing into the box. He's got away from two red jerseys, chucks a stepper over in. Martin Boyle forces the save from Kelroos with the legs. Brilliant play from the Hibs winger.
Thomas, that's the Boyle of old. We've been waiting on that. He's had a real hard time with injuries, and I've said on numerous occasions, give him a chance, but when he's doing that, then he's a match winner. Absolutely fantastic play.
It was. He leaves McGarry, doesn't he, standing there. McGarry's got to make sure that, I think he doesn't judge the flight of the ball initially. He tries to get close to Boyle. Boyle wins possession, and once he's got possession and facing the defender, dipping the shoulder, McGarry's all over the place, and it's a decent effort from him.
Here's Boyle's corner with the right foot right into the 6-yard box. I think it's Jensen gets the flicked header away out to this near side for a throw-in. Aberdeen defend that one. Martin Boyle. And Newell is going to look to take this throw-in. Let's get an update from the action at Tynecastle with Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, 17 minutes played here. Still Hearts 0, Motherwell 0, but both best chances so far have come for the visitors. A corner by Spittle in the left-hand side. Mugabe with a header tipped over by Clark, and Spittle with an effort from 25 yards. It looked as if it was going over anyway, but anyway, Zander Clark got to it and just tipped to make sure it wasn't finding the back of the net. Hearts 0, Livingston 0.
And here come Aberdeen on the break after Hibs had some pressure. It's Duke, he's running over halfway, he's tripped surely by Jago. He is indeed right on the halfway line, and Jimmy Jago goes in the book. Early doors, good counter-attacking from Aberdeen after they were under some pressure.
They were under pressure, and I thought that Hibs were pretty disorganised, to be perfectly honest. They lose the ball at just outside the Aberdeen penalty box, and they were very sparse at the back, and you can't do that, you know, particularly when Duke's got the ball running at you, the pace that he's got. If he's allowed that space, then he normally you know, takes advantage of it. But Jago, probably professional foul, maybe one for the team he takes. The referee's absolutely correct with the yellow card.
Aberdeen get on with things. Here's Rubezic on halfway, looks for the ball down, but he's closed down by Yuan, and now it's Vente with the ball midway through the Aberdeen half. He's given it to Yuan, who's into the box, left hand side. Yuan cuts inside the challenge of, I think it's
McDonald.
Yeah, McDonald gets across. He almost looked like he missed the ball, and then it caught his trailing leg as it went past.
Yeah.
But either way, he's got it away.
Thomas Johan, he's got two options. He's going in, he hits it left foot, or he cuts back. He cuts back, there's a chance that trailing leg of McDonald might get a penalty. He gets it on the ball and plays it out for a corner. I would say, being two defenders, great defending, well,
I think it was great defending, although I must admit, I think there was an element of luck in it as well, John, you know, because he had committed with his right foot to block it, and it was his trailing left foot that managed to just clip the ball.
But what's big Rubezic doing? What is he doing?
Well, he's done that on a number of occasions so far this season.
Boyle's corner with the right foot to the back post, and Fish went up again. He couldn't get a header on it. He was in a good position on the edge of the 6-yard box, but it goes behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. Goalless here at Pittodrie, 18.5 minutes played. And we've had a glimpse of both teams' pace going forward at times on the break, but also their defensive vulnerabilities. Willie touched on there. Rubezic, unconvincing for Aberdeen. And here's Roos as he takes out to the edge of his own penalty area. The Aberdeen keeper looks for options. He's going to go long. Duke is up against Miller, but the fullback wins it comfortably. Header up in the air, and it's going to bounce once and go out for an Aberdeen throw-in on the far side.
Not much of a header, I must say. You know, the fullback, he's got plenty of time there. He's not under any pressure whatsoever. Comes off the top of his head and goes out for the throw-in. Poor defending.
Here's McDonald back in the Aberdeen side this afternoon, gives it to Rubezic, who crosses halfway, and he's played a ball forward, but again it's exactly what Conor Barron did before. There was absolutely no one near the space that Slobodan Rubezic passed it into, and it's gone straight behind for a Hibernian goal kick.
Yeah, they would probably leave it with Rubezic, and you know, and allow him to go and try to play the passes. I don't think he isn't comfortable doing that. He would be advised to, you know, look up, try to get it into a midfield player, and then allow the midfield player to play the important pass forward.
Hibs play out short. Fish from his own box launches it long. Yuan's one-on-one with Rubezic, who stood strong and won the header. And it's back for Devlin, who flicks up in the air. Shinnie battles with Newell, who wins it. Yuan will chase, and he's nudged Rubezic, who goes down. And it's going to be a Hibs throw-in, I think. Yuan goes quickly to the feet of Newell midway through the Aberdeen half. He comes infield. He's got a bit of space. He's met with a screen now. Vente gives it back, but the pass is loose straight to Duke midway through his own half. He's trying to turn away. He goes down, doesn't get the foul. Here's Miller, drives past one. He's still going, Miller up to the corner of the box. He's marshalled by Duke, and this time Duke gives away the free kick right on the edge, right on the corner of the Aberdeen penalty area.
For me, 2 times no free kicks, to be perfectly honest. I think both of them have thrown themselves to the ground. Duke initially, and then Miller, as he was going into a cul-de-sac, really decided that he would take the free kick. I think Graham Shinnie having a word with the referee, and for me the referee should have just allowed play to continue.
Another Hibs free kick. They've had quite a few set pieces.
Yeah, it's Boyle and Newell. It's over it.
Yep, the familiar two. We've had a couple each so far, and are in deep discussions as the referee David Monroe makes sure that there's no infringements in the box.
I would be shooting for there, Newell. I'm just looking at it.
And here goes Joe Newell with a left foot. He is going to shoot. There's a flick on at the back post. It's back into the edge of the 6-yard box. Yuan can't control it, and Barron scampers it away to the edge of the box. Now it's played onto Duke, who's got Newell for company. He runs away from him over halfway. Here comes Martin Boyle, who gets a body challenge in and then concedes the throw in, but it's good tracking back from the winger.
Yeah, just going back to the free kick, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying shoot, because there's that many bodies in front of the goalkeeper, and if you fizz it in, anything can happen.
Aberdeen just about got it away, and here's Duke, left hand side, passes it back to McGarry, infield to Barron. Barron looks for some movement in front of him. He's asking for Devlin to come in, gives it on to Rubezic, and then it's back to McDonald on the halfway line. Moves it out to Jensen on the left hand side in front of the south stand. 1-2 with McGarry, back to McGrath, shuffles forward into McGarry, moves, it looks to pass it into the corner of the box, but Duke loses out to Will Fish, and it's cleared up the pitch. Jensen heads it back to McDonald, who has to put the foot through it under pressure, and Fish leaves it for David Marshall at the other end. 0-0, 22 and a half played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for Aberdeen to gain control of the ball and try to have some possession and a little bit more calmness, I would suggest, in their play. It seems to be awful frantic, and I don't think you want that out there. It's a really hot day. The sun is really belting down on the players as well, so I think a little bit more calmness from the home side would be in order.
Goalless here, goalless at Tynecastle between Hearts and Motherwell. Celtic going to Ibrox and getting a huge victory in the lunchtime kick-off. Kyogo's goal, the difference. You can watch highlights of all of that on Sports Scene later on BBC Scotland. And Aberdeen take the throw in. Rubezic on the edge of his own box. Yuan closes him down, and it's a rather hurried pass back to Roos, who rather unconvincingly gets it up the pitch, but he does find McGrath in fairness, and now it's prodded forward for Miofsky. Looks for the first time ball around the corner to Duke. Perhaps he had time definitely to take a touch and just hold it up there, Miofsky, but the pass didn't go to Duke, and now Hibs come forward. Here's Vente, spreads out to Stevenson in the Aberdeen half. Yuan on the touchline, he's got Devlin in front of him, comes infield on the right foot, and he's fired it to the back post where Boyle is waiting. Boyle gets a header on it back. Here is Josh Campbell in the box, moves it out to the right hand side where Miller is. Miller going to try and take on Barron around the outside. He does. Barron blocks the cross. McGarry controls, clears it up to Duke midway through the Aberdeen half. He's turned Will Fish brilliantly, Duke, but then he's just lost control of the ball, and Barron goes in, makes a challenge, and it's a Hibs throw in on the far side. Incredibly frantic stuff here at Pittodrie. Martin Boyle gets some leap on him at the back post. Aberdeen will say he shouldn't be winning that.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 times he's done that. He's had a couple of knockdowns, and if it's working, then just keep hitting it. He seems to have beaten off McGarry on that back post.
Goalless. Opening quarter has come and gone, but Hibs have very much grown into this game. And here's Hanlon with his foot on the ball, takes a couple of touches, he's not under any pressure, gives it to Yuan, who's dropped deep, gets it back inside the centre circle. Left foot pass out to Miller on the right hand side. The fullback thinks about going for a little run, but takes a touch, moves it back in field to Fish, back to Hanlon, and it's a long left footed pass towards Yuan. He's tussling with Devlin, who wins it into Shinnie, and the flag has gone up for offside.
Yeah, as I say, Devlin, he's a seasoned pro. He knows what's coming, he'll stand up to it, bring it on. Johan's got his work cut out today, get on the ball, and don't shrink away from it. Get on it, demand the ball, and get at him.
It's a little bit timid from Aberdeen, though, I think, John, in terms of the press. You've got the 2 strikers up there, you've got 2 centre backs as well, but 2 strikers are not really engaging with the centre backs.
Yeah, I've been disappointed in terms of a little bit of their work rate. There's a couple of times it's been played around the corner, and you're saying to your strikers, go and get after it. Even that one, a long ball, it's no contested. You need to put your body on the line.
Hanlon clears one out of his own box as Devlin threatened, and Vente's going to chase this. He's going to keep it in ahead of McDonald. Vente looks for support, nudges it back to Yuan. He's moving up towards the Aberdeen box. Rubezic is in front of him, he'll fancy that, and Rubezic just cleans him out. It's really clumsy defending from the Aberdeen centre-back, who goes in the book, and he's been drawn out into the wide position, and he was done incredibly easily, John Hughes.
Yeah, you need see when you're one-on-one, you need to know your opponent, you need to get down low, you need to know where he's going. He's on the ball, but you show him where you want to go. Johan's just dropped his shoulder, and away he's wet left side, and he's just just cleaned him out. It's basically a rugby tackle, really.
Willie, you've got a wry smile as an old former centre-back.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how you shouldn't defend, really. I think that's what we've just had an example of. And I would worry if it was Barry Robson if Johan gets Rubezic isolated like that.
One-on-one, and that will happen if the fullback Nicky Devlin's pushed forward.
Yeah.
He's just 23-year-old Slobodan Rubezic. He's playing in the Serbian top flight last season. He is still a fairly young player, but he does seem to lack composure at times. He's so aggressive in trying to win the ball that he was never likely to win it from that position. And now here's Martin Boyle with a free kick on this left-hand side, right-footed into the 6-yard box, headed away by Rubezic. Joe Newell helps it back in, but it's straight to McGrath, who just heads it up towards halfway. And Lewis Stevenson's under pressure from Miofsky here and just gets the pass away to David Marshall, the goalkeeper, who with a right foot clears it down the field. Rubezic challenges, wins the header, it's up in the air, won by Boyle, who's come across to this near side, but McGrath's come away with it. He's rather isolated and he's gone with it, ball into Miofsky, but Hanlon easily read it and nudged it out to this near touchline, and Stevenson, who gives it back to his old comrade Hanlon and then passes it out comfortably between two Aberdeen players to Jego, who takes a look up and he's trying to hit Johan. Rubezic read it well that time and nudged it back to Kelarus, the goalkeeper. Goalless, 28 nearly played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, I thought he dealt with that well defensively, because Johan was looking to get in, the back of him there, but Rubezic watched the flight of the ball and get a decent header in.
Devlin's cross to the edge of the box, not near a red shirt, and Jego clears only as far as Barron, who holds off one Hibs player and then nudges it down the line to Devlin. Right-footed, McGrath in the corner of the box, he's got space to float across the back post, where Duke's waiting! And I think the final touch did indeed come off the defender.
Yeah, it's Muller on the back post doing his job as a right back should. Absolutely fantastic defender. It was a great cross put in by Devlin. He just whipped it into that back post, and Muller certainly done his job there.
Yeah, just allowing Duke to go and challenge for it.
Was it Duke at the back?
It was Duke at the back. He's okay in that position as well. He can leap particularly well, but good defending.
Aberdeen corner. It's as close as they've come since the opening couple of minutes when Nicky Devlin nodded one over the bar. Corner comes in from the far side. Fish stoops to head out, does well. The young defender out for a throw in on the far side. Aberdeen will look to try and keep the pressure on as Barron takes the throw down the line. McGrath's come across, controls it on the chest. He's got Miller for company. He's right on the touchline. Miller closely following him, but he's managed to get away. Here's McGarry on the left hand side, looks to go beyond Miller, and he's run into the back of him. Wants a free kick. Duke flies in as well on Campbell, and then there's a cross the back post, and Miofsky was lurking. Marshall had to get two fists on it, and it's out to this near side, and then Miofsky's won it off Stevenson, who then nudges out for an Aberdeen throw-in, and Miofsky wants to get on with it. He gives it to Devlin, who's got loads of time and space to cross, and he's given it infield to Shinnie, who looks to check back on the left foot, edge of the box. Gives it back to Devlin on this right hand side, cross over Duke, and then it's past McGarry at the back post and out for a throw in on the far side. And there's been a goal at Tynecastle. Brian McLaughlin.
Goal for Motherwell. Wonderful play between Harry Payton and Callum Slattery. Slattery through and goal, zipping the ball beyond Xander Clark. There was a flag, went up for offside, but VAR's checked it and he was easily a yard onside. It's Hardman Lothian 0, Motherwell 1.
Motherwell soaring to the top of the Premiership. What a start to the season for Stuart Kettlewell's side. Still plenty of time to go, and Rubezic has got the ball in his own box, and there's a bit of miscommunication, it looked like, there between him and Kelarus, and eventually the goalkeeper took it. I just needed one of them to take control of the situation.
It's very nervous, isn't it? I don't know if he got a shout. Maybe he did get a shout. If that was the case, then he's every right to leave it, but the communication didn't seem to be accurate there, and I'm not too sure who it was. Was it Vente that was lurking? And if he goes round the other side of Rubezic, he's got an opportunity of scoring.
Here's Miofsky out to Shinnie midway through the Hibs half. Urged to shoot, but he's about 40 yards from goal, nearly 35 yards out. It's moved out to the left hand side. Jensen's going to float one in, hangs up to the back post. Miofsky gets someone on it. Duke with a touch, it's heavy as he faced away from goal, and it allowed Hibs to clear. And now Hibs a bit at 6s and 7s as Joe Newell gets his foot on the ball on the edge of his own box, and he looks for the run of Johan. He's found him brilliantly. Johan going to get there ahead of Rubezic, who is on a yellow card. He's away from Rubezic. He's up towards the byline. Roos has to save as Johan gets the right-footed shot in. What a chance on the break for Hibernian. And now Shinnie turns away and he's fouled, and there's going to be another yellow card issued for Josh Campbell. What a passage of play that was, John Hughes.
Yeah, it all started in Hibs' own box. It broke to Joe Newell. He played a fantastic ball over the top. Johan had the pace of the big centre back Rubovic, and had the pace on him, struggling. Similar to the chance he had earlier on, cutting right on goal. Hit the target, great save from the goalkeeper. That's Johan at his best, absolutely outstanding. When he knows he's got the beating off you with pace, and just keep giving him the ball.
Well, you know, if you're going to leave them two together, there's only going to be one winner, and that's Johan. So I'm struggling to understand why, you know, Devlin is leaving them so exposed. And again, like against Hacken, it's 3v3, but it's 3 central defenders against 3 forward players, and 2 of them are wingers.
Yeah, and pace, Willie. You're talking about real pace with Johan, Boyle and Venti.
Here's McGarry off to Duke on the left hand side. He's touched it back to McGarry. Duke just inside the box, left hand side. Good tackle from Fish, and he's passed it out, but that's cut out by Barron, who goes backwards to McDonald, and the home fans are urging him to play it forward as Johan cuts out a pass that was intended for McGrath. He's got it middle of the pitch, midway through his own half. He tries to get away from Shinnie, and Shinnie just stood his ground, and Johan runs it away. And here's McGarry. Switch to McGrath, middle of the pitch for Aberdeen, up towards the Hibs box. Devlin's up from right wing back, just outside the box. He's going to get the cross in with the right foot, headed away at the near post by Joe Newell, and Shinnie will scamper after it, collects, faces his own goal, spreads it to McDonald in the centre circle. Right footed pass, side foot out to Jensen, then Duke down the touchline. He's going to run it. Miller. Duke goes inside, then out, left footed cross is blocked, corner Aberdeen. And Duke, Willie Miller, has come to life a little bit in the last few minutes.
Yes, he has. You know, if he gets space, if he gets himself in the right position, if he gets the ball in front of himself and 1v1 with defenders, then you know he can take them on. He's got really good movement. He dips his shoulder. He's okay going outside and inside, and Miller on that occasion wasn't 100% certain which way he was going to go. I think he was a little bit fortunate to get the touch on it. Goes out for the corner.
Corner on the left hand side for Aberdeen. It's going to be Gary to take, fires it. Hanlon and Newell get up. One cleared, Barron wins the seconds, drops from McGrath, goes back to Shinnie, midway through Hibs territory, onto McGrath. Looks up, he's not closed down, he's going to ping it out with the right foot to the left hand side of McGarry, who misjudged the ball, and it ended up going out for a Hibs throw in on the far side to relieve some pressure on the visitors.
Yeah, it's been a better spell for Aberdeen. You know, it hasn't been silky football. It's been a bit of aggression, isn't it? An attitude, perhaps.
Saying, Willie, if I was a Hibs manager, and I know the Aberdeen fullbacks, McGarry and Devlin's running forward, they're running on to Hibs fullbacks that are playing against no one, Stevenson and Miller. So I'm saying to Johan and Boyle, cheat. And when we turn it over, then it's 3v3.
And here goes Johan right through the middle of the pitch. Devlin has to go in, but it's fallen back for Johan. Check back to the edge of the box. He might have been able to go through on goal there. He's nudged it to Boyle, who's in on the right hand side of the box. Shot blocked, and Aberdeen scramble it clear. Angus MacDonald clears the danger.
I think that's Josh Campbell. I think he's went to get a touch just inside the 6-yard box, and it's stuck under his feet and come back away.
They're living dangerously though, Aberdeen. Total misunderstanding there between Devlin and Rubovic, getting in each other's way actually and allowing Johan in.
And here's Venta, Johan on the edge of the box, he's standing up. Devlin goes for the low shot. Roos flopped down to save rather comfortably, but Ellie Johan is getting so much joy down this left hand side, and Boyle has had a couple of glimpses on the right as well. Still goalless though, 35 played here at Pittodrie. And Kel Roos, with the sun in his eyes slightly.
There's a wee change, I just think, coming for Aberdeen bench. We'll just see what happens. Is it Agnew just putting on there, maybe just changing the shape slightly? 2 through the middle.
Well, they've got a lot of centre,
wide right.
They've got a lot of centre backs at the club, but none of them natural on the bench at the moment.
It looks like McGrath's wide right. Yep.
McGrath.
So it'll be 2 through the middle. McGrath wide right, McGarry wide left, Shinnie. And is it Barron in midfield?
Yeah. So Aberdeen trying to change things up, because the threat of Hibs on the break in particular has been, well, very lively. And It's a throw-in just in front of us here in the main stand. Devlin inside the Hibs half. Sun in his eyes, goes back to Rubezic, who again has looked nervy at times. Across to McDonald. Right-footed pass out to Jensen, Finnish international, centre half. Plays it up the line for Duke. Fish gets there first and thumps it into the south stand.
I'm just looking at it now. Dzeko must get on the ball. He's not playing against anyone. The other two midfielders are matched up. Dzeko got on the ball and get Hibs playing.
Duke tussles with Miller in the box. He's so strong for a man of his stature, and he's won it on the byline. Gives it back to McGarry, who tried to dig out a cross or a shot or something, but it flew well past David Marshall's near post. And Lewis Miller is on the ground in a bit of pain after that challenge with Duke. But Aberdeen, well, Duke's definitely come to life a bit. He's not scored in 11 games, Willie Miller. He's trying ever so hard, but
he is, yeah. He's a threat. Once he gets onto his game, slow starter last season as well, but once he gets up and motoring down, he's a definite threat. As he says, his strength is phenomenal. 1v1, if you're going to try to take him on, very difficult, no matter what size of defender that he's trying to get the better of. But his pace is his real asset. If he gets it and he gets a bit of room in front and 1v1, then invariably he's going to come out on top. But I'm not surprised that Aberdeen have got to change. They've been forced into matching up almost the slightly different formation, but the same, going with the four at the back, because I think if Johan gets himself isolated by Rubezic, then there is definitely only going to be one winner, and Aberdeen have lived dangerously in that area so far.
And here's McGrath, and he's tripped by Newell. Free kick, and the home fans want a card here. Stays in David Monroe's pocket, but it was undoubtedly a pull as McGrath ran away from Joe Newell midway through the Hibs half, and Aberdeen will get the chance to deliver. 38 played, 7 left in this first half. It's still Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0. Both sides looking for that first league win of the season. And Connor Barron is asking for another ball to be thrown on. Not sure what's wrong with it. Another one, he puts it back off the pitch.
Obviously, he's not
sure.
He's not one of them midfielders that's got eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, it was sitting there ready to be hit for quite some time, but here we go. McGarry is over it with the left foot, Barron with the right. It's going to be McGarry, puts his hand up, goes to the back post. Marshall thinks about coming in, doesn't, and Hanlon has to head it behind for a corner. Dangerous stuff.
Yeah, great ball in, and Hanlon makes sure he's first there. As I say, that's great defending, because if it goes over Hanlon's head, then it's higher, but he's done his job. But the first one, he's making sure he's heading.
And McGarry is going to come over on this near side to take the corner as Aberdeen look to get themselves in front before half time. And they've got the centre backs up. Left foot for McGarry in towards Jensen, headed away by Vente. Back to Barron on the right hand side. He gives it infield to McGrath, who's in the box. He's come out of the box, right footed pass to McGarry, who's over on the right hand side. Good pass for Barron, cuts it back. There's Bojan Miofsky. What a block that is by Hanlon. Or it might be Campbell, in fact, and then Dzego's eventually hacked it away. Really good defending inside the penalty area from Hibs. They had to, because Miofsky was burying that in the bottom corner.
It was a big opportunity, but Hibs just throwing bodies in front of it. Was it Dzeko that got the initial block?
I think it was Hanlon.
Was it Hanlon? Yep. There was a little flick as well. Who did the little flick in there? When it fell to him, it was
Duke
very cool and calm.
Duke with a good tackle to win possession. Here's Miofsky, left-footed shot on the edge of the box. It was tame, and Marshall just dived to his right and saved extremely comfortably.
Yeah, that's Muller, the right back, taking a chance, running. He's running the 20-30 yards here with the ball away into midfield, into bodies. Every chance you're going to get dispossessed. That's what happened on the turnover. It gives Aberdeen a chance.
It does, but it was a poor effort from Miofsky, wasn't it? If goalkeepers still wore bonnets, you would be saying you could have thrown your bonnet in that one.
John Hughes could have thrown his bonnet on that one from here.
Behave yourself, come on. That's called style.
Oh, take your word for it, John. Take your word for it.
It's not even mine. It's a boy called Almanis.
Other design outlets are available. And it's an Aberdeen throw-in over on the far side. And the home side have had the better of the last 5 minutes or so, but Hibs have looked so dangerous on the break with Youan and Boyle in particular, as Duke tussles with Miller. Miller will be sick of the sight of him, and then it's a good tackle from Barron. Duke goes after it, Fish has to go across. That's a good tackle, got the ball, Duke went over, but Fish just got there first.
Yeah, very good challenge. He's identified the danger. He was quick to go out right on the touchline. He's got to get it right. He goes in with the left foot, maybe a little bit awkward with the challenge, but there's no doubt he gets the ball and then he takes Duke, and it's a good challenge from the centre back.
Here's McDonald, crosses the halfway line. He's dinked one with the right foot, but that's extremely poor. Straight out the pitch, well in front of James McGarry. Hence the groans around us in the main stand. And Miller will go across to take the throw in. There's been no shortage of running endeavour, and there have been chances for both sides, but it is goalless. 42 played here at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Hibernian. Both sides winless in the Premiership in their opening 3 games. Hibs without a point as Stevenson chases a loose ball in the Aberdeen half. He's got there. Devlin's come across to meet him. Left-footed pass infield for Newell. Across to Diego, is in the centre circle now. Right foot out to Miller. Runs at McGarry, but then moves the ball back to Diego, gives it back to Miller, and Aberdeen allowed to come out a bit and meet Hibs, and it's forced back to Hanlon in the centre circle as the visitors try to build some play from the back. Youan drops deep, he's pursued by Devlin, but he's done well to keep the ball, and he's moved it to Newell in the centre circle, and back to Fish. Aberdeen not getting right on top of Hibs, leaving them their own half, and Jensen's put the foot in to win it from Boyle. A lovely pirouette from Barron in the pitch, but then he's lost it. Boyle driving up the edge of the box, looks to work the space on the right foot. Shot blocked by Angus MacDonald, and Martin Boyle baring his teeth once more for Hibernian.
Yeah, it was a great play from Boyle in the middle of the park. Initially it was on the ball, got dispossessed. Obviously it angered him because he really showed the desire to get it back, and then he went on that run, right into the box. And by all means, when you get there, go and have a shot. Unfortunately it hit the defender.
There will be a throw in on the far side to Hibernian. Lewis Miller is going to wind this up in front of the travelling Hibs support in the south stand. Flings it in right onto the penalty spot, edge of the 6-yard box now. It's allowed to bounce, it's out to the far side, and Youan collects. Devlin goes with him. Youan tries a little turn and whips it away from Devlin at the last minute, but Devlin sticks to his task brilliantly and gets a foot in, and it's broken from Miofsky, who goes round Newell, who trips him, and he's already been booked. No, he hasn't. It's Jimmy Jeggle that's been booked, and then Newell then moves the ball away afterwards.
Yeah, I think they're shouting because Newell had one 10 minutes earlier when he tugged one back. There's no much in that.
No, I didn't think there was. I didn't think it was a yellow card.
Good refereeing.
Yeah.
And Rubezic will take the free kick. Barron receives it, looks up, and he's put a sweeping ball with the right foot out to McGarry, who's high up on the left hand side. Jensen, the centre back's going on the overlap. Little shimmy from McGarry up to Miofsky, who's got space in the edge of the box. He's closed down now, left foot shot blocked, gets another attempt just inside the box and prodded it with the left foot towards Marshall, who was able to again dive and claim.
What should they have done? He should have toe poked it. McGrath was in, wasn't it? I know it come down and it was toe poke or a shot. If he just toe poked it, McGrath was in on the right hand side here.
I think when you get a striker in that position, when he's had one shot, he's going to go for the second. He's only got one thing in his mind. What a crossfield pass from Barron out to McGarry. It was brilliant. It opened the opportunity up, and Miofsky just desperate to get his shot off, which was blocked. And then you're right. I mean, he had other options, and he could have picked a teammate out. But I think in that position, that circumstances, he wants to find the back of the net. That's what he does. That's his stock and trade, and he had to go for it. And I don't think you can blame him.
Well, he's a man for goals for Aberdeen this season. We're into the 2 minutes signalled by the fourth official of stoppage time, as Angus MacDonald this time just shells one out the pitch on this near side. Hibs throw in. Well, it's been lively in this first half, certainly. Both teams with positives to take, but also some concerns at times defensively. Stevenson is going to throw this up the line. Vente goes up, Campbell goes up, beg your pardon, but it's over him, and Shinnie comes away with it. He's on the halfway line, and he's looking for a pass forward, but he spreads it out to McGarry on the left hand side. Infield to Jensen. Barron drops in, takes a touch, gives it back to Jensen. Up the line to Duke. who is one-on-one with Miller. He's not got much space to work with, Duke, and Miller just stood his ground and nicked the ball off him, and then clears up the pitch towards Ventet. Jensen got there first, knocks it on to Shinnie, checks back, gives it infield to Barron, who's going to try the pass out to Miofsky in the box. Miofsky controls with the chest, corner of the box. He's pursued by Stevenson. Infield to Barron, middle of the pitch, Shinnie, edge of the D, edge of the area, McGarry, a bigger pardon cross, and there's appeals for a handball from Miller against Miller, and it comes back to McGarry, who crossed it to the back post. It's over everyone, including Bojan Miofsky, and Juhan's going to fetch that, and then he tries to pass it to Stevenson, but he's given it to Shinnie, and well, that penalty appeal, it looked like his arms were by his side, I have to say. Lewis Miller, and it was close range as well. Fans appealed in any case, and there's a foul by Jamie McGrath on Joe Newell, and that may well be the final action of this first 45 minutes, and it is half time at Tynecastle, and Motherwell are leading Hearts by a goal to nil. We'll hear about that first 45 minutes at the break with Brian McLaughlin as David Marshall prepares to take this free kick on the edge of his own area, and you think as soon as he hits this ball the whistle will be blown, and he hits it with the right foot, and indeed the whistle is blown here at Pittodrie. The first 45 minutes come to an end. It's been lively, that's for sure, but both sides, who are absolutely desperate for their first league win of the season, no one's on course to get it so far. After the opening 45 minutes, there have been chances. Martin Boyles had a couple saved by Roos. Juhan had one saved by Roos as well. Devlin had a header over inside the 6-yard box. Miller had a good block to deny Duke. Miofsky had another one blocked inside the box that was heading for the bottom corner. But none of those chances taken. Some good goalkeeping, some good defending at times. At half-time, here at a gloriously sunny Pittodrie, it is Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0.
This is Sports Sound. We're live here on BBC Radio Scotland already this afternoon. We brought you that important win for Celtic. They went across to Ibrox. They took all 3 points thanks to Kyogo, who scored yet again just in first half stoppage time. Bit of a scrappy defensive display at times from Celtic, but they held Rangers out, and that is 3 points that have sent them to the top of the table, but they could be being pretty much joined there by Motherwell, who are in action this afternoon at Tynecastle. Brian McLaughlin.
It certainly looks that way, Richard. It's Heart of Midlothian 0, Motherwell 1, and no less than the Fir Park side deserve. They were absolutely terrific in that opening 45 minutes. A couple of chances early on, a corner by Spittle from the left-hand side. Mugabe with the header tipped over by Xander Clark, and the Hearts keeper called into action a few moments after that. Spittle this time with a shot from distance. Again, Clark tipping the ball over the crossbar. The deadlock broken on the half-hour mark. Harry Payton and Slattery once again combining. Slattery finishing off a wonderful through ball from Payton. Split open the Hearts defence, finishing with ease did Slattery. The flag went up for offside, but after a VAR check this time, absolutely accurate. Possibly two Hearts defenders were playing Slattery on, and Slattery almost with a second for Motherwell, and what a goal this would have been, Richard. Look out for this one tonight on Sportsy. Dispossess Atkinson inside the centre circle, inside his own half, looked up, Xander Clark was off his line, then fired the ball towards goal. Clark relieved, the ball was just inches over the crossbar. Been very little in offensive terms from Hearts this afternoon. Boyce rather set up Lowry late on with an effort from distance that was deflected over for a corner, but Hearts have been really poor this afternoon, really leggy and lethargic after the midweek defeat in Europe. For Motherwell, Slattery, Miller, Spittle, Spencer and Payton have all been outstanding this afternoon, and they look really solid at the back. Half time here at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Motherwell 1.
Brian, thank you. Just in terms of the Hearts fans, given that they've seen a few goals being conceded this season, they've seen the team not get off to the kind of start they would have wanted. We heard earlier the Rangers fans venting their displeasure at their side. How have the Hearts fans been?
They're actually wasn't too much booing, Richard, which surprised me a little bit, because if Hearts lose this game today, that's 4 defeats on the trot, 8 goals conceded and just a 1 score. Now, yes, there's been a mishmash of what's been going on behind the scenes between Stephen Naismith and Frankie McAvoy, who's in charge, who's picking the team. That, I'm pretty sure, will be rectified within the next week or so, and then only then, I think, can the fingers be pointed at Stephen Naismith, if indeed he will be the man in charge, and I fully expect that to happen. But yeah, Hearts fans very quiet, but 18,353 here in this afternoon once again. But yeah, not too many disconcerting voices from the crowd yet.
That may be the deciding word, or decisive word, depending on what happens in the second half. Brian, thank you so much. 1-0 for Motherwell. Been on this wonderful run since way back. It's only a couple of league defeats they've suffered, certainly unbeaten in a long time in the league under Stuart Kettlewell. I mean, a really strong start to the league season as well, and they're in front at Tynecastle. More to come from that one, and regular updates from Brian during the course of the second half as we bring you all the news, all the action, all the drama and excitement from the capital. Away from football, incidentally, Bob McIntyre, that's been confirmed. His showing this afternoon, he has confirmed that he will be in the Ryder Cup team, the European Ryder Cup team, in just a few weeks' time. So congratulations to the Oban golfer. Great to see Scottish representation back in the Ryder Cup side. Such great history, of course, some of the wonderful performances we've seen from Scots over the years, and Bob McIntyre will be hoping to do that very thing. Can't wait for the Ryder Cup. Always one of the highlights of the sporting year and the years in which it is played. So congratulations to Bob McIntyre. In terms of the football highlights tonight, 7:15 Sports Scene, BBC Scotland channel, and listen out during the week. Scottish Football Podcast Monday to Friday, SWPL highlights Monday night 7 p.m, and of course next Friday live on Sportsound, Cyprus against Scotland, with highlights later at night. In the English Premier League, into stoppage time, deep into stoppage time in fact, Crystal Palace 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Odsonne Edouard getting a couple of goals I noticed for Roy Hodgson's side, who looked to be, clearly will be heading to victory there in the final minute of 6 of stoppage time there. We had a couple of minutes stoppage time here at Pittodrie at the end of the first half. Willie Miller, has it lived up to expectations, the opening 45?
Probably not, Richard. I think at times it's been a scrappy game. I think that Hibs for the first half hour perhaps had quite an easy time of it. I was expecting Aberdeen to be much more higher in the press and put Hibs under pressure and trying to win the ball back much more quickly than they did. That changed a little bit in the final 15 minutes, and I thought Aberdeen were more prominent. And of course, when you're forced into changing your formation as well, going from the back 3 to the back 4, I think it was a sensible decision to do that. But it tells its own story. It tells a story that the opposition really have got the better of you in that period. Aberdeen looking much more comfortable with it being a centre back rather than a right back. I just watched Hacken as well, and I said it at the time, and I said it before this game, and you take so many chances, and particularly with the pace that Hibs have got and the pace that Hacken had and the quality they had up front, when you play 3 centre backs against 3 front men, and that's what Aberdeen did again today, and they were found out, particularly Rubizic against Johan, because there was only going to be one winner there, and it certainly wasn't the Aberdeen centre back. There's been chances, I think marginally Hibs have had the better opportunities and the better chances in the first half, and I think David Gray would be the happier manager, but I don't think there's too much in it. I don't think Barry Robson will be despondent, but they've got to do more. They've got to try and dominate the ball. They've got to try and be a little bit more calm, I think, in their build-up play. It's all very rushed at times. It'll be an interesting second half. I think it's even, and I'm just leaning towards Hibs in the first half, but I think the second half Aberdeen have got to improve, and I think the shape will definitely help them.
Probably the best chance of the game actually came for Nicky Devlin, didn't it, in the second minute, when he's 2 yards out or 3 yards out, he headed over the open goal. But since then, certainly Hibernian have been creating, John, more chances, and as you guys identified beforehand, the danger has come from Boyle. It's come from Youan. We've not seen an awful lot of Dylan Vente as yet, but it's just an ever-present threat, isn't it, from that Hibernian side?
Yeah. But as I say, that's great pace you're talking about up front there, Richard. And if you can get the ball to him, Boyle's looking back to his old self. I've always said we need to give him a chance. He's been out with a real bad injury, but he's looking lively today. He looks like he's up for it. Get the ball to him, get him running at the defender. There's a chance something might happen. On the other side, Johan, he's been, when you get the ball to him, especially on the one-on-one, and he had the best chance of the game. I'm just looking back and I'm thinking that he's actually opened up just to put it away in the far corner, and I think it just might got stuck under his feet a little bit. It was still there, and he just didn't get enough on it. But that's been the best chance. And obviously Johan again, quite identical, cutting in again on the one-on-one, leaving the defender for pace, and McDonald coming over and getting that great tackling, shall we say. But I've been happy with Hibs. I've been good. We were saying as the game was going on, I'd like to see them in the top half of the pitch, creating chances. They've built into the game, and that has happened. Same again, second half, and I fancy Hibs to go and win it.
Well, they've certainly looked the more dangerous, Willie. You said that you felt you were just leaning towards Hibernian in terms of the overall balance of play. They certainly don't look like a team that's lost all 3 league games this season and are bottom of the table.
No, they didn't in that first half. Although it depends what the opposition does as well, Richard. And I felt that Aberdeen just allowed them to control the pace of the game, and allow the back 4, 2 centre backs have not been put under pressure, certainly not in the first half hour. A little bit more pressure put on them in the last 15 minutes, but they do not look like a team that they should be struggling at the bottom of the table. They've got too much threat. They're pretty good in midfield. They've got a bit of quality in there. Joe Newell is very impressive, and he has been impressive for a long time now, and the 2 wide players are definitely the threat, and Aberdeen had to really change to try and take care of them. You've now got Jensen playing left back, really, who is a centre back, and so that pattern has been disrupted. But it's been disrupted because Hibs have played particularly well, controlled the game, especially in the midfield area, and Aberdeen not been really nearly aggressive enough. I'm looking at, if they're going to go 3 at the back versus their 3 forwards, and you've got to get the wing backs forward and causing issues, and they didn't really do that, did they? Devlin and McGarry, not too many issues did they cause the Hibs defence. I think Duke is always a threat, and Majowski can certainly find his way to goal, so that's our main threats. I think it'll be an interesting second half. I'm not sure who I would put my money on. John's definitely for Hibs. I'm not definite for anybody at this moment in time. I think it's been reasonably even, with possibly Hibs just having the better chances, the better opportunities, barring that one from Devlin early in the game.
To be fair, it's your money John's putting on Hibs, not his. I mean, that's for sure. You can be guaranteed that that's the case. But come here, there's sometimes it's all it takes, John. We've seen it time after time. Under Lee Johnson, we never quite knew exactly what was going on with Hibs and their style of play, and there were some highs, but there were some considerable lows as well. They do look a bit better organised at the moment under David Gray. Yeah, they've not. It's just picked a real good shape. He's been with it, with Josh Campbell playing behind Vente, and it also gives Hibs that little extra man in midfield. 3v2. The only way you can match it up is one of the strikers of Aberdeen drop in, and I don't think that's going to happen. So the 2 in midfield, the 3 in midfield, picked up. But once again, you have to get the ball to the wingers. It's down the sides, get the ball to the wingers, get the ball to Boiler, get the ball to Johan. They're the match winners. And it'll be interesting what Aberdeen do the second half. I have to say this, Richard, I was really impressed with their energy levels midweek, Aberdeen. I always thought they were in the game. I felt the other team, the Swedish team, were a better football team, but Aberdeen were in the game, and they put a lot of work into that game. I just wonder if that'll come back to haunt them today. It could be. Well, they did only make a couple of changes from that fixture. It might be that we'll see the squad, the team being freshened up a bit in the second half, but it is not only do they have that to contend with, it is an energy sapping day here in the tropical northeast, isn't it?
It is tropical. In these conditions, this early in the season as well, difficult to get that energy level up, and perhaps that's why they didn't show that energy level in the first half. I'm not so sure it was. I think it was just plain tactics that they wanted to allow Hibs defenders, particularly the two centre back, an easy time on the ball. I expect Barry to try and change that in the second half and make sure that Hibs don't have that control or don't have that easy possession. I think when you're at home and you've got the fans wanting to see the bulk of the game being played in the opposition half and chances being created, then you can't just allow the two centre backs to start building the game up as Hibs did, particularly in the first half hour. So yeah, it is energy sapping out there. I think you have to pace yourself, but at the same time I do think that you've got to put Hibs under far more pressure than what they have been. And you've also got to make sure that you're organised at the back, because if the two wide players for Hibs get any kind of a space at all, then you would fear for them. On the other hand, if Duke can get his game up to the level we know he's capable of and get a bit of space and get the opportunity to run at defenders, then that could be Aberdeen's weapon in the second half. We know that Majowski can score if he can get opportunities. I don't think they've created enough chances for him, and Barry will have to find a way of being able to do that second half.
5 successive matches that Majowski has found the net in for the Dons, so he clearly will be a threat. Hibernian certainly offering a threat through Boyle and Yuan in particular, and Josh Campbell also coming pretty close in that first half. He just failed to divert a low driven cross into the net. Brian, let's quickly head back to you at Tynecastle. Are Hearts looking to change things around?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of changes made. Yutara Oda and Alex Lowry have been replaced at the break. Toby Civic and Kisuke Tagawa, the players coming on to try and inject a little bit of pace. Very, very slow in that first half, very passive indeed. Second half just getting underway, Richard.
Players just emerging here in England. It finished Crystal Palace 3, Wolves 2 and Liverpool 3. Aston Villa 0. Arsenal against Manchester United kicks off at 4:30. SWPL 1. It was Spartans 0, Aberdeen 3. 3 of the matches, Hamilton Dundee United, Motherwell Montrose and Rangers Partick Thistle have just kicked off. Hibernian Celtic starts at 4:10. So the Dons players are out, now the Hibernian players out. 2 goalless at the break. Back to live commentary with Willie Miller, John Hughes and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Aberdeen are going to make a change. Shaden Morris is going to come on the pitch for Aberdeen in place of, surprise, surprise, Willie Miller, Slobodan Rubezic.
Yeah, it probably isn't a surprise, after watching him. He was exposed to a number of occasions in the first half, and when you go to that back four as well, then you've got a right footer and a left footer now, with Jensen coming in and playing beside McDonald. He was booked as well, and he's the type that's pretty rash with his challenges.
Hibs get us underway again as they look to get their first points. An even better win of the season in the Premiership. David Gray, what would be a great fill-up for him if he could get that first 3 points in caretaker charge for the third time. As Martin Boyle tries to come away with the ball out of the Hibs half, and then he goes head-to-head with Duke, and the Aberdeen man gets the free kick. So Aberdeen will have Roos in goal, and then it'll be Devlin, McDonald and Jensen the back three, with Morris a wing back, McGarry on the other side, Shinnie, Barron, McGrath with Duke and Majowski up front. No changes for Hibs. Marshall in goal, Miller, Fish, Hanlon and Stevenson, Jimmy Jeggo, Joe Newell, Campbell, Yuan and Boyle, and behind Ventit as Aberdeen play the free kick short, and it goes all the way back via a few red shirts to Kelleroos, and he looks for the pass out to this near side, and James McGarry, who's immediately under pressure from Boyle, has space to squeeze it up the line, but Lewis Miller gets there in front of Duke, and then Campbell moves it on to Boyle, who's driving in field, and the run of Campbell towards the edge of the box. Campbell picks it up, he's just inside the box, gets the right footed shot, it's deflected up into the arms of Kelleroos, but that's what Josh Campbell gives you, John Hughes.
Yeah, and it was good refereeing, because initially I felt there was a free kick there, Duke a free kick, but he played on, and Josh Campbell, fantastic at it. He's got an awful habit just to ghost in there, and score these goals.
Yeah, Aberdeen going to the 4-3-3, just Duke pulling out to the left hand side now, and Morris to the right hand side with Majowski through the middle, so just matching up with Hibs.
Shinnie out to Duke on this left-hand side. He's asking his teammates, give me an option. McGarry is there, back down the line. McGarry forced back to Jensen. Goes across the back line to McDonald in the centre circle. And that's a slightly heavy pass for Devlin, who makes the best of it. Gives it up the line to Morris, who lays it back off for Devlin, but Stevenson got in there and wins his team a throw-in on the far side. Aberdeen just caught a little bit, moving the ball about at the back, just a tad sluggish. Stevenson takes the throw back to Paul Hanlon. David Gray in the dugout below us, watching on, taking charge of his 10th game as caretaker over 3 spells of Hibernian. 1-3 draw 2, lost 4 of the previous 9, including that League Cup final in 2021 where Kyogo Stubble gave Celtic the victory. But his team started brightly in the second half as a ball down the line from Miller finds Boyle. He's twisting and turning away from McGarry. Still got it, Boyle. He's going to cross, cut out by McGrath, behind for a corner though.
Yeah, great play from Boyle. But as you say, a long ball over the top with Miller. Boyle, you know, he takes it on that toe once he stands the full back up. McGarry's got a chance. I'm only saying, Miller, just leave him one-on-one. What Miller's done is come back to go and overlap or underlap, and he's brought the guy back.
Boyle takes a few steps back in his home city, of course. Martin Boyle puts the arms up, he's ready to take with the right foot, stabs into the penalty area. Hibs get a head on it, it goes to the back post and Fish. It falls for Joe Newell! Just wide from the Hibs midfielder. There were hearts and mouths round us in the main stand at Pittodrie. What a chance for Hibernian.
Yeah, I mean, it falls on that left foot of Joe Newell. You're expecting the net to ripple there, you know. Absolutely struck it well. That could not have been far past the post.
It was a great effort, wasn't it? Well set up by the centre back too, and when it fell to Newell, and he does get that time on it as well, and he sees that far post. He's so unlucky to see it just flash past.
Shayden Morris did really well to get a cross in at the byline for Aberdeen, but there was absolutely no one in a red shirt in the penalty area. Here's Duke on the other side, trying to work space for a cross. He goes back to McGarry, into Barron, who looks for a forward pass, but he's forced backwards, and Jensen has it all the way back on halfway. He's going for the left-footed switch out to Morris, and it's too heavy for Shayden Morris, although if he'd caught his bike a bit there,
that was letting Lewis Stevenson know what you're up against. I'm a speedster, you know, and he knocked it by him, and you know, to get there and get it, Lewis just better make sure he's just getting his distances right. You know, that's just a whole different problem for Lewis.
Well, it's certainly a more familiar position for Shayden Morris, the right wing berth rather than defensive duties. Here he is, infield. Shinnie nicks it away from the House player up to the edge of the box, and he's clattered in the edge of the area. Advantage played. McGrath drives into the box, he's forced away from goal, hits the deck as Miller went shoulder to shoulder. It didn't really look like a foul, not that the home fans agree with that, but Shinnie was certainly cleaned out on the edge of the box, and they actually go back for the yellow card for Paul Hanlon. That was frantic stuff. Still goalless. 50 played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, I think Shinnie got taken out, but passed the ball on to McGrath. McGrath went in, went nowhere. So the referee's played on. Shinnie wants a referee to bring it back for his free kick.
You can't win. Yeah, you can't win as a referee though. If that ends up in the back of the net, I don't think Shinnie's complaining.
Here's Majowski, looks for the pass for Duke, but it's well read by Hibs. McGarry picks up midway through the Hibernian half on the left hand side, thinks about the cross, moves it short to Majowski. It's McGrath rather, who then looked for Majowski, deflected out to Duke on this left hand side. He's just into the penalty area, tries to work space for the cross, but there's 2 Hibs defenders out there, and in the end Lewis Miller blocks, and it's behind for an Aberdeen corner.
Right, I've now got 2 threats for Aberdeen in wide areas, Morris down the right and Duke down the left hand side, so you know the Hibs fullbacks are going to be well tested, John.
And Muller will know he's up against it. You know, he's not been a flavour of the month in terms of getting a team selection, so he's going to have to stand up to this.
McGarry's corner with a left foot into the penalty spot. Jensen had a time to take a swipe at it, and it was a swipe because it didn't go anywhere near the target. Hibs only half clear to midway through their own half as Morris faces his own goal, gives it to Barron. Good pass forward to Duke on the edge of the box, out to the right hand side, and Devlin, he's on the corner of the area and he's put it in the right foot across. Majowski's header just over the bar. But Aberdeen have just lifted the tempo in the last couple of minutes.
Well, they have, and I don't know what the Hibs centre-backs are doing. Both of them go towards the near post, and Miovski just drifts off the shoulder of both, and it's Miller that's got to come in from the full-back position and actually try to put him off. I think he should do better. I think he should get that on target at the very least. Puts it over the bar.
Yeah, it's just Morris in a stop-off play, and it's Morris, the substitute. It's just down there getting a little bit of treatment.
Yeah, he's felt something, and he's down flat on his back, getting a bit of sunshine. Duke watches over, says, "What's up with you?" And Aberdeen might be forced into another rethink. Morris just on at the break. He's only played 52 and a half. He only played 7.5 minutes, but he's down. Felt something.
I mean, you could put Johnny Hayes out there, couldn't you, if he can't make it, if you want to stay with a 4-3-3 formation. But yeah, he looks very uncomfortable. They're talking, obviously they're wired up as well, the physios, but it doesn't look too good for Shayden Morris. Time will tell.
He's pulled to his feet. Esther Sockler is stripped. He's getting a few instructions from Barry Robson, a big pat on the back from his manager. It looks like he might be coming on. We shall see, but Morris is back on his feet. He's not limping, so it might be okay to continue. And Esther Sockler is pointed to the bench by Barry Robson by the look of it, and he puts his bib back on and he says maybe later. Shayden Morris is off the pitch on the far side, as Aberdeen will have to play briefly with 10 men. David Marshall takes the goal kick short to Paul Hanlon, and dribbles out to the edge of his box. Still goalless here. A couple of chances in the second half already in the 8.5 minutes we've played. Newell flashing one by the post for Hibs. Miovski heading over for Aberdeen. There's Jimmy Jego, edge of his area. Gives it off to Will Fish, who was closed down by Duke, and it hit off Duke behind for a goal kick, but better pressure from Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's what they should have been doing in the first half. They made it so easy for the Hibs back four, particularly the two central defenders when they're trying to build up. Oh dearie me.
And that's a poor pass out, and Morris closed down Hanlon, who just recovered and nicked it by the Aberdeen player, who's back on the pitch after receiving some treatment. Hibs get a free kick on the far side. Ewan looks to go quickly. McGrath blocks his path. Ewan does get it away to Newell in his own half. Jimmy Jego back to Hanlon, who looks up, passes it forward right into the feet of Ewan, who takes it on the turn really nicely. Now he's going to stretch the legs. Barron and Shinnie are in front of him, and Shinnie is shrugged off by Ewan. He's right into the penalty area, steps over it. Ewan onto the right foot. Oh, that would have been a wonderful goal. He's put it by the post, but what a run.
Yeah, you cannot, I know you get your head up, maybe play a pass, but when you've got that momentum and you're knocking boys out the way like Shinnie, and you keep going, by all means go and have a strike. It wasn't too far away. Good play from Johan.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? He did have Josh Campbell. Josh Campbell was looking for the little kind of a square pass in, but it never came.
Marshall clears as Miovski bared down on him. Headed out of Aberdeen's defence by Jensen. Duke's going to collect on this left-hand touchline. He's up against Miller. Takes it for a run, Duke. Shoulder to shoulder with Miller, is a big guy, but Duke gets away from him. He gets to the byline, goes down. David Monroe thinks about it.
I don't know.
He's waved it away. He's given a goal kick.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Stephen Kirkland is our VAR this afternoon, and he will have a look at that. But certainly, it was difficult to see from behind the pole, in all honesty. But he hit the deck under pressure from Miller.
Yeah, I don't know if I seen a leg in at all, so that's why I would say that there wasn't contact. But if there's not contact, maybe there was some body contact perhaps that allows.
But I'm too far away to see that. But one thing I will say, the intent of give me the ball, I'm going to get at you. The two Aberdeen wingers now.
Yeah, but that's his weapon. That's his strength, getting it and taking players on, using his pace, being direct, and asking the question of the defender. What does the defender do now? It looked as though Miller handled it relatively well there. I don't think that I could see a leg being thrown out, but we're quite far away from it, so we'll just have to wait on the final decision.
On VR?
Yeah, we are indeed. The goal kick is being held up. It's play on. No penalty for Aberdeen.
If he goes down that easily, if there's no contact, maybe there was a bit of body contact, and that's why Duke gets off without being booked. because
it looked shoulder to shoulder, and he's maybe just lost out.
Maybe, yeah. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Indeed, you can watch that one back on Sports Scene later in any case. And Graham Shinney's wanting a free kick right in front of us here in his own half. And he's not going to get it. It's going to be a Hibs throw-in. He's been in the referee's ear a few times, Graham Shinney, unhappy with a few decisions. Fish with a right foot switch out to Stevenson on the left. First time up the line to Yuan. He's looked so composed on the ball, Yuan, but then just as I say that, he takes a heavy touch. And Nicky Devlin's able to clear, and then Steve Newell in fact is under pressure, and Yuan tracks back. It's scrappy. Campbell goes in on Shinney, and this time Shinney does get the free kick, and I think now he's asking for the yellow card, but Josh Campbell has already been booked.
The referee's inconsistent because there isn't. I don't know if that's a yellow card, but he's gave it earlier on. Some of these tackles I've seen earlier on, he's gave yellow card, so be consistent.
Well, I think that's what the message was from Graham Shinney, certainly. And Josh Campbell has already been booked. Ball forward for Aberdeen. Flicked on by McGrath to Shaden Morris. I think Boots, he's under close quarters from Stevenson, who nods out for a throw-in.
Knowing Shinney's played for it. You know, he knows how to play the game, and he knows suck people in, and knows what's going on round about him, and any chance he gets, very, very clever. That's what's in the game nowadays. In our day, you never went down. It was a weakness, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
And it's an Aberdeen throw on the far side. And they're going to... Well, there's... Devlin checks back, thinks about throwing it, goes back, and it's launched in eventually. And it's easily headed away by Stevenson at the near post. Barron picks up, puts it back to Devlin, and Barron jinks in field away from one, but it's a good recovery tackle from Josh Campbell, who's now speeding away. And he's still got it. It's Venta actually, I think, on that far side, who's played in by Campbell, and it's a challenge, goes in for Aberdeen, and Morris has it. And Aberdeen look to spring the counter. McGrath just inside his own half. He's closed down, facing his own goal, gives it to Jensen, then he moves it out to McGarry on this left hand side. Duke on the left wing in the Hibs half. He's one-on-one with Miller, some distance to go to goal. He's made up the yards to the edge of the box, though. He's now inside the penalty area, left hand side. Cross cleared back out to this left hand side to McGrath. Gives it to McGarry. Throws in a little shimmy, trying to work space for the cross on the left foot, but it's Jimmy Jego who defends well. Infield to Barron. Looks for Miofsky inside the penalty area. Blocked. Jego goes back to Fish, who clears downfield. Jensen wins the header. McGrath controls on the left touchline. He's put his body in between the ball and Dylan Venta, and he's bought the free kick.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy, but again, good work from Duke down the left-hand side. Miller really struggling, though. You know, do you not think, maybe get one of your centre-backs over and actually push them inside into
I'm just
more
looking
bodies,
at the bench
midfield
to see if they've got another right back. But we were saying at half-time, it's the tactics, what happens at half-time.
Yeah.
We'd all agree that Hibs were a better team. Probably, I'm honest enough to say it. I think Aberdeen's been a better team second half.
Yeah.
McGarry and Barron over this free kick on the left hand side. It's going to be the left foot of McGarry. It's not a great one, and it's cleared at the second attempt by Hibernian. Yuan's going to come away with it, and he's played it out to Stevenson, who's on his bike, and it's just Stevenson and Shinney, and he's played it into Martin Boyle, who's in behind the Aberdeen defence. Red shirts get back and recover, and what a tackle that is from Graham Shinney on the edge of the box, and
Offside.
The flag goes up. It was offside against Martin Boyle in any case. Douglas Ross, the linesman on this near side with a belated flag.
See that in terms of rule, because it's a lunge to tackle to get the tackle.
Yeah.
They could get hurt. Boyle could get hurt. Shinney could get, and yet it's offside. Pick your flag up.
Yeah.
I cannot work that out.
They won't.
Right, let's go to Tynecastle for an update with Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, 62 minutes in the clock, still Hearts 0, Motherwell 1. Hearts much better though in the second half. Tagawa with a header just over the bar, and then Shankland, after being played in by Devlin, looked net bound, however was deflected over. Motherwell was still very dangerous indeed. Blair Spittle had a shot that was just inches wide off the target. Still Hearts 0, Motherwell 1.
Thanks, Brian. Aberdeen are making some changes. Esther Sockler is finally been given the call to come on. He replaces Shaden Morris, who's clearly hurt himself after coming on at the break, and Connor Barron, on only his second start of the year, goes off, gets a pat on the head from Barry Robson, shake of the hand from Steve Agnew, and Leighton Clarkson is on the pitch to try and make something happen for Aberdeen. And they're told pre-match by Barry Robson he's carrying a bit of a calf knock potentially, so we'll see how that holds up as Aberdeen play that free kick from the Boyle offside out short. McDonald and Clarkson lets it run across his body, and he has brilliant play in the end, and he's pinged it out to Duke on this left hand side, who again is running at Miller. He's up to the edge of the box, Duke. He's twisting and turning away from Miller. He's got by the defender. No, he hasn't. Miller got back with a really strong foot, and he's nudged it out for a corner.
Yeah, well done, Lewis Miller. You know it's coming, you know they're getting the ball to Duke. Aberdeen see that's the way they've got to win the match, and I says earlier on, he needs to stand up to it, and great defending, well done.
62 played here at Pittodrie, still Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0. Both sides searching for that first league victory of the season. Clarkson to take the corner with the right foot for Aberdeen. It's into the near post. Hibs get a head onto the edge of the box. It's out to McGarry, who slips as he takes the shot.
What a save!
It was saved by Marshall, clawed it away. It was heading on target. Big save from the Hibs goalkeeper.
Was it McGarry that had the shot?
Yeah.
What's happened? It's actually took a deflection, it's took the sting out of it, but it's still gone in the top corner. That gave Marshall a chance to go and get to it, and to be fair to him, what a great save.
It's kind of a spun
It's
off
spinning,
a leg, isn't it? And it's taking the pace out of it, but what a save it is from David Marshall.
Another corner with the right foot from Clarkson. It's right on top of Marshall. Hibs cleared it, but only into the edge of the 6-yard box. Duke goes up, Jensen's in there with us. McGrath helps it back in with a head. Marshall has to punch to the edge of the area. It's finally hooked clear by Lewis Stevenson. Boyle plucks it out the sky. He's jinked away from Shinnie, and he's played it round to Josh Campbell, who's surging up to the edge of the Aberdeen box. McGrath gets back. A cross from Campbell is cut out by Clarkson. Good tracking back from the Aberdeen midfield. Excellent counter-attacking from Hibs, and they're not done. Here goes Stevenson on the left-hand side, stands up the cross, which is taking a deflection behind for a corner to Hibernian.
Yeah, Shinnie's a lucky boy, because on that break he tried to take Martin Boyle out. But Aberdeen need to watch it. That's been a couple of times they've been on top from a corner, and Hibs have broken them. But great play from Hibs, you know, they've got that pace in their team. And when they get that pace in their team and you break on, it's hard to go and catch them. And Boyle there, you know, showed a great pair of legs, and unlucky.
That's why you've got to be organised.
Yeah.
Organised for the counter, and Hibs will have a chance to deliver. Newell's corner, edge of the 6-yard box. It's Duke who goes up and gets a good header away out of the Aberdeen penalty area. Josh Campbell collects, and he's fired it back to Lewis Stevenson, but it's a loose pass, and Stevenson has to scamper after it, and he's under no pressure, and he's put it back long with the left foot. Jensen is under it. It's not a great header from the Aberdeen centre half. Campbell collects, gives it to Miller, who tries to turn round McGarry, but the Aberdeen defender got a foot on it, puts it out for a throw in, and it looks like we're going to have a Hibs change here as the referee David Monroe halts proceedings, and it's Adam Lafondra who is being prepared to come on for Hibernian. He's got a couple of goals in the Premiership already this season, a veteran striker on to try and make a difference, and it's going to be Josh Campbell, who despite netting 5 against Aberdeen last season is going to come off without a goal here this afternoon, and Adam Lafondra is going to go and join Dylan Vente up front.
Lafondra will go up top, and I think Vente will just drop into that sort of number 10 role. It might not, but Lafondra's got a bit about him. His experience has got, and he works very, very hard. He's a real hard worker.
Goalless here at Pittodrie, 65.5 minutes played in this Premiership encounter, as Miller's throw is too heavy for all of his teammates, and it goes right behind for a goal kick. And it's been a bit of the good and the bad from Lewis Miller in this game. He's had some good defensive moments, but
even on that, Thomas, Miller's throws a ball. Like, if you can throw it right into the box, you know, you get it, use it. That's your tool, use it. You know, that long throw, and get it fizzed right into the box.
Here's Jago for Hibs. He's running across halfway, but he's coming over to the right hand side, and then his pass for Boyle is far too much, and it goes straight out for an Aberdeen throw. McGarry nudges it in to Jensen. Aberdeen with just 2 points from their opening 3 games, Hibs with none. The worst start for 21 years Hibernian in the opening 3 games. As it stands, they're heading for a point on the board at least, but they'd like more. And that's Sockler's header from the long ball straight to the feet of Jimmy Jago. Goes back to Miller, who drives infield up towards the centre circle. He's in the centre circle, nudges it out to Hanlon. who shows and goes and then tries to switch out to Boyle, who's lurking on the shoulder of McGarry, and he's going to get there. Martin Boyle keeps it in with the head, then he tries to go round McGarry, who's deflected it and then played it off him for a throw in. It's good defending from the Aberdeen left back.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? He had to make sure that he got it right. Boyle's that threat, and you can't allow him to get goal side of you, that's for sure. McGarry kept his eye on the ball and actually very intelligently won the throw-in.
McGarry is asking for someone to drop in. Hibs also, this is as solid as they've looked all season defensively. Not that it's been perfect, but no clean sheets so far. And they've picked up the ball 25 yards from the Aberdeen goal. Lafondra plays it backwards to Stevenson, who's come in field. Left-footed pass out to the left wing. Eli Yuan, he's one-on-one with Nicky Devlin. He's come inside on the right foot, but that one's wild. Don't know if he was trying to whip that to the back post or bend it into the top corner, but it sailed into the Merkland stand.
Yeah, yes, give him.
Let's go to Brian McLaughlin for an update at Tynecastle.
Yeah, Motherwell still leading by 1-0, but they'll have to play the last 22 minutes with just 10 men. Paul McGinn, his second yellow and a red shown by referee Grant Irvin. Was a tussle down the left-hand side with Liam Boyce. There looked to be nothing in it, to be fair. However, the referee deemed it was certainly deemed a second yellow, and Motherwell down to 10.
Motherwell with goal advantage, aiming to hang on and go joint top of the Premiership with Celtic after their win in the Old Firm derby earlier, courtesy of Kyogo's goal. It brought you that one live on Sports Sound here at Pittodrie. It's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0 as Boyle picks it up just on the edge of the centre circle. He's driving towards the Aberdeen box, gives it on to Yuan on the left hand side. Boyle gets it back on the corner of the box. He's got a bit of space, drives in field to the edge of the D, and then he loses out, and then it's a pass forward towards Shinnie, and Aberdeen will get the free kick for a foul on Esther Sockler in any case. 0-0.
Yeah, he just ran out of space, didn't he? Aberdeen doing well, getting bodies back there, as Boyle did really well, to tussle and win possession and then drive forward. He tried to link up with Yuhan, but eventually just ran out of space, and Aberdeen filling the gaps and not allowing him the space to enter into.
Kilroos plays it long to the left hand side. Miller gets across and heads it into the stand ahead of Duke. Well, Aberdeen really like a victory heading into the international break. They're away to Tynecastle on the return, then at home to good Ross County side in the league, then away to Ross County in the midweek in the League Cup quarter final, and they've got Rangers before the end of the month at Ibrox. So it's a tough schedule coming up for Aberdeen. That's why they really need to start picking up points or victories in any case, as Jego plays that off Jamie McGrath, earns Hibs a goal kick.
It looks like Dodge is coming on for Hibs.
Yeah,
that is Dodge.
It is, yeah. It's very tight though here, isn't it? I mean, it's a difficult one to call at this stage. Aberdeen, I thought started the second half really well, but Hibs have slowly began to take a little bit more control, John.
As we say as well, it's going to be a bit of magic. Usually a goal is a bit of magic. It's going to somebody just to come up with a good unlock that door. There you go, and it could be the match winner. The two teams are very, very close.
Venta heads it. He was looking for Boyle, but it's bounced for McGarry, who lets it bounce another couple of times and then plays it up the line to Shinnie, but he's overpowered by Miller, and then he trips the Hibs fullback, and Graham Shinnie almost inevitably felt at some point this afternoon goes in the referee's notebook.
Yeah, the two have been at it all game. Shinnie, never shy away from it, Graham Shinnie. That's one thing about him, he's all action. That's why he's a captain of Aberdeen. Absolutely fantastic getting him back to the club last year and keeping him here this year.
And Christian George is being readied. He scored the only goal for Hibs May 2021, the last time they won here at Pittodrie, as Jack Ross's side then, as it then was, secured third spot, and he's going to come on and try and do just that, nick a winner. And it's going to be Dylan Venta, who has been quiet, you have to say, John.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more from him, but he's still finding his feet, but big Dodgy here, he'll come in on here, he'll give you more physical presence. Anything in that box, he'll make sure it's getting contested, so a good substitution.
3 goals already this season, a couple of assists as well, so he's been effective, given he was on his way out the door, it appeared, at Hibs. Here's Newell's free kick, left foot into the box, Shinnie's header at the edge. Clarkson controls, looks for Duke, midway through his own half. Duke He's crowded out. That's brilliant work from Paul Hanlon. He's won it, and it's broken for Lafondra on the right hand side. Gets the right footed cross in, glanced away over to the other side by Jensen as Doidge lurked at the back stick. It's played up for Sockler under pressure from Jego. He's facing his own goal. He needs support from a teammate, but Hibs are crowding round him. Stevenson and Jego are across, and they win the throw in. The fans here at Pittodrie, home fans, frustrated at that one that no one showed for Mr. Sockler. Hibs have a throw in.
Just looking back at Duke, he needs to link the ball a little bit. He wants to hold on it and use his body. He needs to link it and move at times, Willie, doesn't he? It's like a one-man band. All right.
Yeah. He doesn't do that too often. He doesn't link too often. It's a solo performance.
Here's Miller. Gives it into Boyle, who's clipped by McGarry. Goes down, gets the free kick. Just used his experience there, Martin Boyle, and pace to nip in front of McGarry, and it was a slight clip from the Aberdeen defender, but he did clip him. Boyle goes over, and it's going to be a free kick about 25, 30 yards from goal, in line with the right hand corner of the box. But both sides have had quite a lot of set pieces and not done an awful lot with them so
Thomas,
far.
But I've just got a sneaky feeling.
And they try and go short, and Duke's there, but he's slipped as Boyle is all over the back of him, and then Duke manages to recover well and clear downfield because Boyle was ready to pounce.
I was going to say a sneaky feeling if Hibs are going to score, it's going to be for a set piece, and they go and play it short and don't put it in the box.
Marshall clears it long. Goalless. 73 played here between Aberdeen and Hibernian in this Premiership match. Motherwell leading Hearts, 10-man Motherwell leading Hearts by a goal to nil at Tynecastle. Celtic with the victory earlier at Ibrox by a goal to nil. So all the games tight on this Sunday. A couple of draws yesterday as well, late drama. Fantastic weekend of Premiership action. Is there going to be a winner here as Jensen crosses halfway for Aberdeen, gives it to McGarry on the touchline, long ball forward into the channel for Shinnie to chase. Miller with a challenge, Shinnie flops over, doesn't get the free kick. It comes back to McGarry, bounces for Clarkson, who's nudged it over for Miofsky, but it was always asking a lot. Very pacey pass for Miofsky, high at his head almost, and now Stevenson dribbles up the left hand touchline. He's across halfway for Hibs, gives it to Yuan, who's going to drive infield. Red shirts trying to get to him, gives it to Doidge, gets it back, then Doidge picks up after an Aberdeen tackle. Here's Jimmy Jego in the centre circle. Newell back to Fish as Hibernian look to build again, and their fans over behind the fence in the south stand sing for their team. They want to see a winner, and Doidge is going to chase this lost cause. Is he going to keep it in? He is, just on the byline. Right hand side of the box, he's crossed it to Newell, who's laid off to Lafondra. Stunning goal from Adam Lafondra. Hibernian capitalise on this sleeping Aberdeen defence. Doidge fetches, crosses, Newell lays it, and Lafondra lashes it beyond Killaroos. And it's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 1.
Thomas, everything they say is in terms of Big Doidge, he'll give you a different, he brings something different to the table, and it was just a lost cause here. He just chased it, prepared. That's what he's all about. He chases lost causes, he picks himself about, chased a lost cause here, and he just caught it on the line, whipped it back, and it was set up to Lafondra. He didn't half finish for it. What a fantastic strike.
I mean, it is a really good goal. It's a well worked goal, but it's a goal that could be stopped because Aberdeen two centre backs switch off. The ball comes on, it's flicked on. They think it's going to go out for the goal kick. They switch off. They allow the Hibs player to get to the byline, and when it's put in, and Newell's little touch forward, it's a fantastic strike. Little touch back the park, fantastic strike. Killaroos, no chance whatsoever. Well worked goal, but Aberdeen defensively, I think, questions asked.
What a substitution for David Gray. Two substitutes make the goal. Fantastic.
Dante Bovara is on for Aberdeen. Graham Shinnie, the captain, is off. And Hibernian, their fans bounce up and down in the south stand now. They're enjoying their day in the Granite City. All of a sudden, they're heading towards their first Premiership victory of the season. Still 14 minutes plus whatever is added to make sure of that, but it would be a huge win for them, it really would. And David Gray, if he does want the job on a full-time basis, this would do him no harm. Aberdeen, well, they will leapfrog Aberdeen onto 3 points. Aberdeen with just a 2 on the board, still searching for their first win. Can they mount a comeback here? And the Hibs with a throw in their own half. Lewis Miller with a ball in his arms, flings it up to Doidge. Jensen wins the header, but Newell picks up seconds just inside the Aberdeen half. It's out to Stevenson on the left hand side, and suddenly Hibs with their tails up, out to Youan. Devlin's there. Youan puts a few stepovers in and then nips away inside from Devlin, but there was a covering Esther Sockler who got the challenge in. Hibs have it back with Newell. Pauses again, and then his pass is hit off Dante Polvara, and Aberdeen recycle. Here's Clarkson, and he's looked for the forward run of either Miofsky, McGrath or Duke, but it was straight to Will Fish. And Hibernian come away as Boyle spins away from McGarry, who got back and forces Boyle back towards his own goal. He's still got it, Martin Boyle hands it on to Miller, back to Fish in his own half, who then goes back to David Marshall. And Hibernian don't have to rush anymore, they have the lead. Wonderful goal from Adam Lafondra in 75 minutes. That's the difference between the sides at the moment. McDonald controls inside the centre circle for Aberdeen. Right-footed pass to Polvara in the Hibs half, out towards the left-hand side in Clarkson, now to the touchline in Duke. He's up against Miller, slowly rolls the ball over his foot, goes to the edge of the box. Polvara's waiting, tries the shot with the right foot, but that was always sailing well wide of David Marshall's left-hand post.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what Polvara's trying to do there, get onto the right foot, curl it into the top corner, but for me, I just think Duke, he's coming off now. I think he's run his course, isn't he? He didn't have that directness in the last 10 minutes or so, and Aberdeen are making that change.
Yeah, it's Pape Habib Gay, signing from KV Kortrijk, on for his debut. 16 goals and 84 appearances over 4 seasons. Played in Norway, Alsund as well, and he's going to replace Duke, part of Aberdeen's attacking options this season. And he goes up and wins his first header, and then Hibs regain the ball. Doidge right on the right hand touchline, plays it forward. Jensen heads it away, but Newell picks up out to the left. Stevenson a couple of yards forward, shifts it to Youan, who's been pretty lively this afternoon at Pittodrie. Stevenson, Newell thinks it up in the air. Fondra's peeled out wonderfully to the left hand side, picks up, pursued by Polvara, gives it back to Youan on the touchline. Left footed cross, McDonald clears, but it's a heavy touch, and then it's dinked towards goal by Lafondra, and Kellerus had to nudge it over the bar.
Yeah, Lafondra just jumped on McDonald's touch here, and it was stuck under his feet, just done enough just to dink it, try to go for the top corner, and he's working the goalkeeper. He's looked lively when, I know he's got his goal, but he's looked lively when he's come on, Lafondra.
Has indeed. 3 goals in the Premiership this season for Adam Lafondra. Got one against St Mirren opening day, made an impact there. He's got so much experience, a good goal record. Corner from the left for Hibs. It's up there, it's off the bar. Doidge clatters the crossbar. Miller goes up, it's still not clear. Doidge again, and it's in the back of the net. Hibs celebrate. David Gray hugs his staff. The players embrace each other in front of the Merklin stand. 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes has Hibernian heading for their first victory of the Premiership season. It's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2.
Thomas, I didn't want to say it, but I've said it, he'll bring a whole different challenge to the team. He had a hard time last year. The previous manager didn't fancy him, put him out on loan to Kilmarnock. He's come back. He had a terrible injury, Big Doidge with Achilles. He's really worked hard to get back to it, and that was absolutely fantastic, because the first one that come in, he's head and shoulders above everybody to head it, hit the crossbar. When it's come back in, great finish.
Yeah, it was. I think the initial header is really impressive. He's so unlucky to see it coming off the bar. Then he's got to think about his positioning. Then, John, after that, you can switch off when you have a chance like that as a striker. I used to be one, and when you head the ball and it comes off the bar, you switch off. He didn't switch off. He just got himself into an important position. When it came back in, he's just picked the spot perfectly and dispatched it into the back of the net.
And he's took a cut of the head for all his troubles. But what you say is, well, it's one of the big ones. He needs to be picked up.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm saying with Hibs earlier on. I fancy them to score for a set piece because they've got a great physicality in there.
Aberdeen kick off, and Doidge is still off in front of us getting treatment. What a start to the season for him. 3 goals now, and the Hibs fans are the ones enjoying their Sunday afternoon in the sunshine in Aberdeen. And it's going to be Aberdeen who will be leapfrogged unless they can produce a miracle in the final 8 minutes plus stoppage time. They're coming forward here up to the edge of the box. Sockler turned but lost the ball, and now Hibs are picking up everything as Boyle looks for the run of Doidge, but it's too far ahead of the striker, who's just trotted back onto the pitch, and Jensen will pick up. And Aberdeen, having started the second half fairly brightly, have fallen out of this game, and they are trailing by 2-0. Hibernian, 2 very fine goals from Lafondra and Doidge, the substitutes, completely turned this game.
There's no doubt about that, and you know, Aberdeen can look at themselves defensively and ask questions. There's no doubt about that as well. But you know, Hibs have turned it round. They've made really positive substitutions, and the substitutions have turned this game round.
Miller's throw up towards Doidge, but McGarry is in the way. Heads Clarkson. McGrath round the corner looking for Gay, who has fouled Miller, says the referee David Monroe. But Willie as well, Aberdeen, you know, they're going to have to get to grips with this Thursday-Sunday thing in terms of the season ahead. You know, Hibs have and Hearts have struggled, but they don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, well, it's no surprise though as well. You know, it's no surprise that you've got to deal with it. They've added to the squad as well. It's not as if they've got a huge list of injuries either to point to that they can't, you know, shuffle the pack and you know, make use of the squad that they've put together. You know, unfortunately for Barry, a lot of these players are just through the door, and I'm sure that he'll be using that as a reason, maybe not an excuse, but a reason. You know, but they haven't been that far ahead of Hibs. In fact, Hibs, you know, have deserved to be in the lead.
Newell's free kick with a left foot, headed away by Aberdeen. Boyle then picks up the seconds, but he was falling backwards as he headed it, and it's gone out for a throw-in on this near side. Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2, as we approach the 84th minute here at Pittodrie. The Edinburgh side closing in on that first win of the season in the league, and a first win at Pittodrie in 5 attempts, only a second in 15 attempts, and they've been excellent in the second half as Yuan just about robs Polvara, got away with it in the end, and it's cleared forward. Here's Gay, picks up just inside the Hibs half, and he runs towards the box and he's tripped, and it's a yellow card for Joe Newell. Aberdeen free kick. Joe Newell taking one for the team there.
Yeah, exactly that, Thomas.
And Aberdeen, well, they need the late show if they're even going to get a point out of this one. 84.5 played. Leighton Clarkson with a free kick, 30 yards from goal. Bang in the middle of the pitch, he's dinked it in. Jensen goes up, gets a header on it, but it sails harmlessly behind for a Hibernian goal kick, and David Marshall will be in no rush to get this one launched up the pitch.
Yeah, of course, it is possible. I can vouch for that. I was at the St Johnstone Dundee game yesterday, and they managed to, St Johnstone managed out the blue, totally out the blue, managed to get a draw from that. But I don't know, Aberdeen are looking a little bit dispirited out there, I would suggest, a little bit leggy.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the saves that Marshall's had second half, at the one in the top corner, and then after that, no much after that.
Yeah, an important save.
Yep, that was McGarry's deflected shot that he had to claw away, but as the guys have said, Aberdeen not had much in the way of chances since. Hibernian have stuck the ball in the net twice in the space of 5 minutes. Here come Aberdeen though. Sockler's header, and Fish returns it. Clarkson picks up, he's played it out to Devlin, who's in the field, out towards the right hand side, gives it to Polvara, wants it back, Devlin, but the pass from Polvara is extremely poor, and it's cut out easily by Hibs and sent down the pitch all the way to Kelleroos. And Aberdeen will have to start again, trailing by 2-0 as we approach the 86th minute on the clock here at Pittodrie. Hibernian, what a big boost it'll be if they go on to secure all 3 points, get themselves off the foot of the table, leapfrog Aberdeen. Hearts trailing to Motherwell as well, 10-man Motherwell at the moment holding on. We'll update you if anything happens there with Brian McLaughlin. For the moment, Jensen has the ball, left foot, and it's bobbled about in the Hibs box, but again there's red shirts in there but nowhere near the ball, and David Marshall will just fluff onto it. Let's get an update from Tynecastle with Brian.
Yeah, 3 minutes left for play, and it's still Hearts 0, 10-man Motherwell 1. That goal coming on the half-hour mark from Slattery, but Hearts 86 minutes, their first shot on target, Lawrence Shankland straight at Liam Kelly though, and the Motherwell goal. 3 minutes left, Hearts trailing 1-0.
What a huge result that would be for Motherwell. Such an impressive team since Stuart Kettlewell came in. What a job he has done. Still work to do in the capital though, as there is for Hibernian, but their cushion is 1 goal greater, leading Aberdeen by 2-0, and Miller gives away the free kick just inside the Aberdeen half. But Willie, as you said, Aberdeen, just the body language is not as much urgency as you were perhaps like.
No, we'd expect more urgency, sharper passing, a little bit more commitment, but it gets difficult as well because Hibs are just quite happy to sit back now. They don't have to do much to see this game out, and they're asking the question from Aberdeen, can Aberdeen find something in these dying moments to change their fortune?
Doidge has laid it off to Lafondra, who's lashed it through for Youan to chase. Excellent pace by Nicky Devlin to get there ahead of Youan. It shows you that he's no slouch at all, the Aberdeen defender, because Youan is rapid. He got there first, but it's up the other end that Aberdeen need the ball. Hibernian sitting in their shape, very comfortable. Down the line by McGarry. Miofsky round the corner, outside of the boot, cross from Clarkson to the back post. It doesn't reach Sockler because Stevenson and Hanlon are there to deal with it. And
good defending with Stevenson, as you do. You get tucked in behind your centre half. Anything on that back post, it's your job.
Here's McGrath on the right hand side in the field for Devlin. He's going to loft across him with the right foot towards Gay and Miofsky, but it's over both of them, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Aberdeen 0, Hibs 2. 88 minutes played at Pittodrie. Hibs on course for a big win.
Well, it's huge for Hibs, isn't it? I mean, the way they've started the season, losing their manager as well, interim manager in David Gray, he must be totally delighted with the response he's got.
It needed a victory. That'll give them time to settle it down, give them time to assess what they're doing, assessment, what do we need to do, and give them time to look for that new manager.
Well, they've got Kilmarnock away after the international break, then St Johnstone at home, St Mirren at home in the League Cup quarter-final, finished the month at home to Dundee. So, well, if you're a Hibs fan, you're looking at that and saying they're winnable games.
Yep.
It's never as easy as that, of course, but it's a chance to get a run together.
And it's important, Thomas, because if you look at the next one for October, it's Rangers, Celtic, Hearts.
Exactly. So I need to get points on the board. Here's Kelroos with the ball. He's out his box. Gives it to McDonald, the centre half. Aberdeen, not much movement in front of McDonald. Now look a beaten side as we head into the final minute of the 90. Long ball easily cut out by Miller, and Diego heads it on. Lafondra off the chest. He's been outstanding since he came on, not least scoring that wonderful goal to break the deadlock on 75 minutes. And it's a throw in now.
You're talking about Lafondra, you're talking about a guy at 36, but when you look at his frame and his physicality, that would be a problem to him at that age.
He's really sharp across the first few yards.
You can see that, and as I say to you, the feedback I get from all my friends at Hibs, he wants to work, he wants to put a shift in.
Yeah, Adam Lafondra is already proving an astute signing. And there the board goes up. 7 minutes of added time. So if that doesn't stir Aberdeen, I don't know what will. They have 7 minutes to salvage a point. Hibs 7 minutes to see out what would be a huge victory for them, their first of the Premiership season. Miller's throw-in straight onto the head of McGarry though. Then Miofsky, who knocks it down for Clarkson. First time pass up to Gay, but it's easily headed. First time by Diego out for an Aberdeen throw-in. And Hibs have looked comfortable, you have to say, since scoring their goals. McGarry goes back to Kellerus, the goalkeeper, along with the right foot. Miofsky and Gay are running after it, as is Lewis Miller, who gets there first and slides to knock it out for a throw-in on the near side. Maybe a chance for Aberdeen to just fling this in the box and force Hibs to do some defending.
I think it's simple stuff now, isn't it? And you keep your fingers crossed. It's more hope than anything else that Aberdeen are banking on. Just trying to get Hibs turn a little bit, maybe a creative, and that might come now.
And Tavara's cross, and it's hit Miller on the chest and behind for a corner. He stayed down, Miller. Took a sore one. Don't know if that's theatrical to try and make out that it's not hit his hand. That, I don't know, it's thudded off his chest, maybe his face. He's still down, Lewis Miller. And We are beyond the 90, nearly a couple in to the 7 minutes that are added here at Pittodrie. Hibs leading Aberdeen by 2-0. 2 goals in 5 minutes from Fondra and Doidge, the substitutes. Corner comes in and well taken indeed by David Marshall.
Everything you want from your goalkeeper, right? It just takes the pressure right off. That's mine. Boom. Everybody just relax.
And he does that thing all goalkeepers do, is just flops down after he's claimed it. eats up a few more seconds, as he absolutely should. And he's got the ball in his hands and he's going to launch it forward with the right foot. Hibernian heading for their first win in the Premiership this season, and they've picked up the ball with Diego just outside the centre circle. Fired for Yuan on this left hand side. He's going to have a little go at Devlin. He's into the box. Yuan, left footed cross, easily gathered by Roos, who rolls it out quickly to Clarkson, who's immediately under pressure from Lafondra to McGarry. Out to Gay on this left hand side. Little shimmy, tries to go around Miller, who's battled back really strongly and got the free kick. And
yeah, I'll say it again, Lewis Miller, absolutely fantastic. He really has stuck to his task, because we were questioning one-on-one with Johan, with Duke earlier on. Yeah. You know, we were questioning that, and he stuck to it. So, you know, all credit to him.
Yeah, because it could have hit his confidence, because it was taken in a number of occasions by Duke as well, but he didn't give up. Yeah, he's just stuck to his task. He's a big physical presence as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'2". Yep.
Yeah.
Throw into Aberdeen on the far side. They need a miracle in the final few minutes of stoppage time if they want to get then what would be their 3rd point of the season. 2 draws in that defeat to Celtic on the record so far, and they're heading for defeat on their own patch here. Not won at Pittodrie in their 2 games this season against Celtic and Hacken. It looks like they're heading for another home defeat. And here's Clarkson, nudges it forward with the right foot. Sockler makes the run. Polvara tries to head it towards Miofsky. Diego picks up the loose ball and then is able to put it out and just eat up a few more seconds. Hibs have looked more solid, heading for a first clean sheet of the season as well. Unless Aberdeen can find something here. Devlin up to the edge of the box. Miofsky gives it back to Devlin. He's in the box, tries to cross. Diego's there. Good recovery from the midfielder to get back and clear. And Aberdeen with the throw in on the far side, running out of time. Game all but gone. Jensen in the centre circle, the Finnish defender. Left foot, he's gone long, headed away by Hanlon. Polvara tries to control in the chest, but Lafondra's working ever so hard, and then he goes down holding his face, but it's play on. Devlin on the right hand side, he's wanting options. McGrath makes the run. Devlin goes on the left foot but then goes short to Polvara. Back to Devlin on the right hand side, cross blocked up in the air on the edge of the box. Polvara wins the header. It's back to Jensen, who's high up in the Hibs half. 1-2 with Clarkson, but it's not the best, and Doidge got in with a really strong challenge, and he's actually won the throw in off Jensen. Fantastic stuff from Christian Doidge. What an impact.
No, it was brilliant. You know, at this stage as well, the striker coming back and working tirelessly to make sure that his team aren't under pressure, and you know, managing to get the challenge in. It's a good tackle, isn't it?
For the life of me, I don't know why Lee Johnston didn't fancy him. He's not the best, he's not the quickest, technically no great, but he does his job. You're a centre half, you know you've been in a game with it.
Jensen up the line for Aberdeen, up towards halfway. Miofsky's flick on, but Gay ran in the other direction from where the ball was heading, and Hanlon just strolled across and puts it on the roof of the main stand at Pittodrie. As Aberdeen, well, are not going to rescue it from here. You would have to say 2 goals in what must just be a minute of the 7 added. Jensen with the left foot goes long, looking for Sockler, who tries to control it on the body, but it runs away from him. Now Lafondra in the corner to Yuan. Polvara wins it off Yuan in the centre circle. Devlin to McGrath, moves out to the left hand side. McGarry's made a run, he's up to the corner of the box with a left footed cross, hangs it high to the back post, but it's extremely comfortable for David Marshall, and that just about sums up Aberdeen in this second half, really. Not enough cutting edge, and Hibernian are heading towards a big victory. Huge victory for David Gray. Takes a swig of his water in front of us, and the Hibs fans over on the far side, they're going to be the ones singing come full time, as fans in red head for the exits here at Pittodrie. Goal kick long, McGarry lets it bounce, it's out for a throw in. He'll try and go quickly, and then the referee tells him to wait. McGarry doesn't really have an option. Polvara eventually comes across, receives it. He's in his own half though, and Lafondra, so sharp, nips in and wins the throw in off McGarry. And Hibs will just eat up a few more seconds.
They've looked beaten for some time, I think, Aberdeen, the last 10 minutes. Since the second goal went in, I think they've looked beaten. They haven't responded to it at all. They haven't, really tested the Hibs, and you've got to say that to the visitors who came up here, they played extremely well throughout the game. Aberdeen have had their moments, but I think Hibs go away deserved victors.
Motherwell have claimed a huge victory at Tynecastle, down to 10 men for the last 20 minutes or so. They've held on, and there is the full-time whistle. Boos at Pittodrie. The Hibs fans are on their feet, they're cheering their team. It's a huge victory for David Gray and Hibernian Football Club, their first of the Premiership season, and it was the substitutes that made the difference. Lafondra combining wonderfully with Newell in the box and lashing beyond Kelroos on 75 minutes to break the deadlock. It was a lively game, and Hibs 5 minutes later effectively put it to bed. Deutsch hit the bar with a header, the ball came back in. He was still lurking in the right place, and another header into the far corner, back across goal to double Hibernian's lead. Aberdeen never really looked like getting back into it at that point. They are still searching for their first league win of the season, but what a boost for Hibernian. It's finished here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2.
Hibernian hadn't had a clean sheet in 10 matches this season. They have now. They've come to Pittodrie and they have thoroughly deserved a 2-0 victory, which moves them off the bottom of the table. Aberdeen are off the foot of the table only because they have scored 1 goal more than St Johnstone, the pair of them with 2 points. Reaction to come from here, and indeed from the capital, where Motherwell have picked up that fantastic win against Hearts. We'll continue on BBC Radio Scotland Extra on medium wave and online. On FM it will be Gary Innes and your requests after the news. So this is Sportsound, you're still with us. The disconsolate Aberdeen fans, those who stayed around to the final whistle, are beginning to troop out of the stadium. Not a single Hibs fan is left, and quite rightly so. They've had a few tortuous moments this season, and this is one to savour, one to enjoy as Hibs players go across to applaud the Hibernian fans for their backing. David Gray and his coaching team down there among the players as well. Handshakes all rounds, pats in the back. Not for the Aberdeen players, who troop disconsolately off the surface here at Pittodrie. Another really, really disappointing showing by Aberdeen. They've been talked up a fair bit in some quarters, but it is now just 1 win in 7. And only, well, as I mentioned, the fact they have scored 1 goal more than St Johnstone keeps them off the bottom of the table. I don't think this will be a performance that will be described as brilliant or outstanding after the match. A 2-0 win for Hibernian. Congratulations to them. Let's go to Brian and hear about a very good win for Motherwell as well.
Yeah, very impressive. Richard, Hearts 0, Motherwell 1, 18,353. The majority of them, of course, the home fans, and they let their team know exactly what they thought of the performance today at full-time. Boos ringing all the way around Tynecastle, except for the 750 Motherwell fans who have packed the Roseburn Terrace end this afternoon. The only goal came after half an hour. Wonderful play by Harry Payton. A defence splitting pass into the path of Slattery, and he put the ball beyond Zander Clark. The flag did go up for offside, but rightly VAR checked and the goal was given. Possibly 2 Hearts players playing Slattery onside. Slattery almost with a second, with a ridiculous effort from the halfway line, just inches over the crossbar off the Zander Clark in the home goal. Lawrence Shankland, Hearts' first attempt in goal, 86 minutes. Lawrence Shankland from around 16 yards, but straight at Liam Kelly in the Motherwell goal. And even more impressively, Richard, the fact that Motherwell played the last quarter of the game with just 10 men. Paul McGinn sent off a second yellow card after a tussle with Liam Boyce. But Motherwell, not a failure in their team today. Certainly nothing. You couldn't say that about Hearts. It's Hartlepool Lothian 0, Motherwell 1, and top of the table Motherwell. They join Celtic.
Absolutely, Brian. Congratulations, Stuart Kettlewell. His wonderful run continues. Callum Slattery. In fact, all 4 scorers today got their 3rd goals of the season. Slattery with his third for Motherwell to earn them all 3 points. Lafondra and Deutsch both getting their third goals as Hibernian won 2-0 here at Pittodrie, and earlier a third of the season for Kyogo as Celtic edged Rangers by 1-0. So the league table as it stands, 4 games in, Celtic 10 points, Motherwell 10 points, Celtic 2 goals better off. It's Cimarron 8, it's Rangers and Ross County on 6, Dundee and Livingston on 5, Hearts and Kilmarnock on 4, Hibernian 3, Aberdeen and St Johnstone on 2. Both those sides at the bottom with a goal difference of -4. St Johnstone have only scored 2 goals. Aberdeen have managed 3. So, John Hughes, your old team came here and over the piece, they deserved the 3 points, didn't they?
Yep, certainly. Although I'm honest, as we say, 20 minutes at the start of the second half, Aberdeen looked more likely, they were a better team, but then Hibs just come strong. And the substitutions, you have to say that, a masterstroke, won them the game. But a real good result for Hibs. Absolutely delighted for everyone concerned, because we've been going through a hard time, a real hard time, and what makes it an extra little bit special, and I have to say it with my Hibs glasses on, is also the result at Tynecastle.
I just alienate half of Scotland. Why don't you join in one fell swoop?
But that's the way it goes, and so I'm absolutely delighted.
I hope you're not out in the town tonight, John.
No, never up the town. Well, I'm too old for all that stuff.
So you're just leaving it there. You just want to congratulate him. You want to stick the knife in the Hearts, and then you're just going to stop talking.
Richard, come on, you're expecting it. Come on, you were keeping the eyes.
What a man you are. Well, look, the Hibs fans, like John, will be exultant about what's happened this afternoon as they leave. It's been a long time coming for Hibs. Even at this early point in the campaign, they've had some tough times. The thumping at home to Aston Villa, the fear, I think, that it would have been even worse in the second leg, and somehow they managed to keep it down just to 3. But that's just massive for them this afternoon, isn't it?
They needed it, that's for sure. One of our top clubs going into the first 4 games of the season, and the potential not to have any points, it's probably unthinkable. They've managed to turn it around with a very, very good performance. I thought defensively they looked strong throughout. I thought Aberdeen helped them to look strong throughout. They maybe wobbled a little bit at the beginning of the second half, and Aberdeen had that opportunity. David Marshall, very good save. But other than that, I felt that Aberdeen didn't put nearly enough pressure on their back lot early on in the game, which is surprising, because when you watched the game against Celtic, that's exactly what they did. They played the high line, they made sure that Celtic didn't get any time on the ball, they smothered the midfield, and they didn't allow Celtic to have any control. But this afternoon, Hibs had control of the ball at the back and in the midfield as well, and created a number of chances in the first half, and only that second half hour could Aberdeen really put a case forward that they played as well as they can. Listen, when you start with a formation and it's 3 at the back and it doesn't work, and you've got one centre back that's looking totally isolated, and a bit of a potential car crash, and you've got to take him off, you go to a 4, you go 4-4-2, and then you change again and you go 4-3-3 to match up with Hibs. That you've got a problem, that the opposition manager's got a problem, because Hibs didn't really change much until the substitutions came on, and it was Aberdeen that had to make all the changes. I think David Gray will be delighted. I think Hibs played exceptionally well, and John, I must say, I was impressed with them, having listened to some of the horror stories and the score lines in recent weeks. Then I wasn't expecting to see Hibs play so well, but full marks and credit to David Gray. I thought it was a very good performance.
Well, and the thing about David Gray is he's played with half of these players, he's played with some of them, so he's got the respect in the dressing room. They want to play for him, and that was, as you say, it was a great result today. One much needed result.
Yeah, much needed, because it gives the players a bit of confidence. Also, it just shows what can be done. Now, these are the same players that Lee Johnson has had all season long. Hadn't been able to keep a clean sheet. Only 3 of the 10 matches they played, they conceded just a single goal. Usually it was 2s and 3s and sometimes even more, and yet they looked very well organised tonight.
But see if you just touch on it. We touched on the goal scorer, Deutsch. Lee Johnston didn't fancy him. David Gray's brought him back into the fold, embraced him. Look what you get. I've said to him, he's not the quickest, technically he's not the great, but a centre forward is a focal point. You know what you're going to get off him. So David Gray's embraced that. And also the right back, Lewis Miller, the reason I keep mentioning him, because they've been playing midfielders right back because the previous manager didn't fancy him. He was out there, he was right under it with Duke, and he stood up to the task. So absolutely delighted for him as an individual, but as a team in general, great result.
And some good individual performances, maybe not right across the whole 90, but Boyle and Youan at times. John created problems. Joe Newell was also very influential, isn't he?
He is, Richard. You know, he's in that midfield, he's controlling it, his weight of passes, his vision. You know, he knows the right pass to play at the right time, and, you know, to control that area. And his deliveries as well from set pieces, so important to Hibs. I think he's a key player, and he was very influential. I thought they're two wide players. I think Martin Boyle was the better of the two. I think Youan just dropped out of the game in the second half, and he's that type of player, isn't he? You're not too sure what you're going to get from him at any given time. He's certainly got talent, that's for sure. He's got pace and he's got a trick or two, but he doesn't produce enough. And I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to be more productive in his game. But Martin Boyle, definitely a threat. And as you said, John, you know, the two strikers coming on and playing a big part, and Aberdeen not being able to defend properly. I mean, the first goal's ridiculous. Two centre-backs switching off, thinking the ball's going to go out for a goal kick. You know, you can't do that. You've got to make sure that you play, you know, right, and make sure that you're playing the game until it's dead, until it's finished, until the ball does go over the line, so they can look at themselves there. And then the second goal, you know, again, big striker, you've got to get a march. You can't let him have the header at goal. He gets a header, he readjusts himself as well and manages to you know, slot it into the back of the net. So that David Gray can take great credit from the changes that he made, but I think overall he'll be delighted with the performance and what these players gave for him out there, and the 3 points were desperately needed, you know, just to get them off the bottom of the table and give them a bit of confidence going forward. And you've got the 2-week break as well now to work on it. That's a great way to go into a two-week break, that's for sure.
From an Aberdeen point of view, and we'll hear from both sides, and of course all the plaudits, all the praise goes to Hibernian. Not so Aberdeen. We were talking beforehand, and listening to Barry Robson, Willie, and I think it's fair to suggest that Barry, his assessment of his team's performances has sometimes seemed, shall we say, just a little bit over optimistic or over positive. Are we going to get that today, do you think?
No, you're not going to get that today. I think he's going to be disappointed. They'll be pointing out maybe some of the chances that Aberdeen had, particularly maybe the first one, Devlin, if that goes in. But there wasn't enough there. And the David Marshall save, of course, he'll point to that. You know, but when Hibs went 2-0 ahead, the body language was poor. I mean, I know it's really warm out there today, but the energy level just didn't seem to be there. I can't see how he can be positive about it. And as I said before the game, there's been some good parts of games that Aberdeen have been in. There's some, you know, halves that they've dominated. The second half at Hacken in particular, decent performance against Celtic, poor against St Mirren and Livingston, and then you spoke about the Stirling game as well, not a great performance there. And I thought they were okay against Hacken at Pittodrie, and the game was there to be won, but they lose 3 goals and they lose a tie. So no, I think there's work to be done, that's for sure, and they've got to turn it around quickly, and I'm sure Barry will know that. You listen to the fans, and it's always an issue with me, you know, when you go and try to applaud fans after a performance like that and a result like that, and the fans are not interested. They're all walking out.
Most of them are going anyway.
What's the point? I don't see the point in it. Give them a wave, and you know, that's all you need. You don't do that half lap. And you're right, there was no one there. But even the ones that were in the ground, Richard, and I've seen results going against Aberdeen here. The ones that are in the ground tend to applaud, but I didn't see that today. So there is that kind of a maybe feeling of apathy beginning to creep in with the Aberdeen fans. It's got to be turned round, and you know, Barry's a manager. It's his responsibility to do it.
Yeah, they've played 3 home games this season. They've lost each of them by a couple of goals. 3-1 defeats to both Celtic and Hacken, and now 2-0 to Hibernian. He was also talking beforehand, John, and you're saying you're looking forward to seeing Aberdeen in the flesh this afternoon. Barry was talking beforehand about, as far as he's concerned, Aberdeen are in a good place. Well, it's 1 win and 7. so far, and I'm not sure the fans who booed at the final whistle would feel perhaps it's a good place right now.
Yeah, he's trying to be a manager. He's trying to protect his players and try to be positive. But as I say, I felt, if I'm honest enough, I felt it was a little bit, as Willie alluded to there, they were a little bit leggy. I think that the European night midweek took that out of them. They're so energetic to try and win that match. And then as soon as Hibs got their first goal, you could just see them, the deflation in them. It just, that energy went out of them. In terms of, I think he's got a problem. I have to be honest, and I have to say this with a big centre back, Rubicic. He's a big honest boy and all that, but even I'm sitting watching and I'm saying, if I'm a manager on opposite side, I'm saying let's play on him over the top, down the side. He tries to. He's too impetuous. He tries to get to everything. He needs to just calm himself down and just start reading the game a little bit more. In a 5, maybe, yep, we get away with it. In a 4, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, they've been playing him in a 5 and he's looked just as haphazard at times.
I think it would have to be a 5, Richard, because sometimes a 5 has been a 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would need, particularly on his side, you would need the wing back to.
Yeah. But why put a player into a team if you're having to construct a team around him to protect him and make him look a bit better?
Well, you'd have to ask Barry Robson.
But why would you do that? Why would you not just put players who you have more faith in?
But they didn't do that. They went with the 3 at the back again, and they were quite happy to make it 3v3, and he's exposed. So they had to change it, and they actually asked Nicky Devlin to sit back a little bit and give him a little bit of protection. Then they had to change it and go to a back 4 and put him into a more central position, and then they had to take him off and go a different formation again. So yeah, it's an issue, it's a problem. He's looked like that in every game that he's played in. He's looked. The Livingston was probably the worst, where he just decided to start taking bodies. John, he forgot about the ball for a 10-minute period, and they had to get substituted then as well. So he's a young player. They'll be hoping that they can make him better. But he's very, very
the window's closed.
Sorry, John, just before you move on. Yeah, I mean, you say he's a young player, but he's 23. I mean, a lot of players have played. A lot of players have played 200 first team matches by that stage.
But it's still a young player. I think young in terms of, and you'll be able to tell me how many games he's played. I'm sure that you've got all the stats there. But it looks raw. It looks as though he's got a mistake in him. They've went and they've brought him in. They might have to take him out and do a bit of work with him to try to make him a better player. Whether that's possible or not, only Barry can tell us that. But they've got Rhys Williams as well. But did he disappear again? Did he?
Well, of course, he suddenly appeared on the bench, didn't he? For the European tie. They could have extra subs on the bench then, but yeah, no sign of him.
No sign of him again. No. So, I think that there's been heavy investment in the squad. The squad's still got to justify itself. I don't think Aberdeen are in a particularly good place at this moment in time. I thought I was bullish about them when I've watched them, and I was bullish about their performance today, but that never materialised. So I think when you're saying you're in a good place, you've got to prove that by going out and beating Hibs.
Well, Hibernians, yeah, certainly they're in a great place, having got their first away win of the season, the first win in the Premiership. Of course, the first points as they move off the bottom of the table. For Motherwell, it's now unbeaten in 8 away from home in the league, stretching back to last season. Another victory for them, 1-0 at Tynecastle thanks to Callum Slattery's goal. I mean, he'd been put out to pasture. He was an open all-micer. He was doing the radio.
He was one of us,
Richard. He was one of us, and now he's proved that he's still one of them.
He is, yeah.
He's just done a remarkable job since he took over.
Yeah.
As he's saying, they're unbeaten away from home. It's 8 away matches unbeaten. They've won 5 in the bounce at home in the league as well. And there they are, right up there, and thoroughly deserve to be getting all the praise, all the credit they're getting right now for their league position.
Quite sensational, yeah. Well done, Stuart. And he speaks so well too, doesn't he? It's always a pleasure to listen to him, and how he goes about his work and what he expects from his team, and he's getting rewarded for that effort and that response from his players. I mean, sitting up there, just alongside Celtic, even although it's only after 4 games with 10 points, it's sensational. But it's not just that; it's the performances and the results he got towards the end of last season as well. When you add it all together.
Don't forget, top goal scorer's not there anymore.
That's right.
Van Veen, I think it was well into the 20s he scored last year, so remarkable achievement from Motherwell.
Really, really impressive. And he's kind of, there's one or two players there, but he seems to just be getting a bit more of a turnout of as well. He seems to be the kind of individual that players react to and respond to. And that, John, has to be one of the real arts of management, I guess.
Yeah, well, I took over from Stuart when I was at Ross County. And I can tell you, when I went in there, it was an easy ship to run because it was so organised and well run. So, it was just results that's done them in. So, it made my job easy going in there. And that's, you can see what he's doing at Motherwell, and you can only wish him all the best. He loves the game. He's very articulate the way he goes about his business, and he's doing a fantastic job.
He really is. It has been a wonderful run for them. He picked up that victory. And incidentally, Paul McGinn, of course, sent off. That's the first red card in the Premiership this season. But it wasn't enough to prevent Motherwell from going on and picking up all 3 points. Hibernian also picking up all 3 points. They did so here at Pittodrie. Their caretaker manager, David Gray, giving his reaction to Tyrone.
David, congratulations on a great result. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic team performance. Right through the whole team, we've been conceding too many goals. We're aware of that. But right through the game, I thought from first minute to last minute they gave me absolutely everything, which is all we can ask. And I thought we were fully deserving of the win. Big moments in the game. I think David Marshall makes a great save at 0-0, and then obviously once the changes happen, we have a couple of opportunities, and I thought we were worthy of the win.
And the substitutions, every manager wants the substitutions to really make an impact, and wow, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, we're fortunate we've got a very good squad. We've got two very experienced players that we're able to bring on in that moment. But I think it's not to overshadow what Dylan Vente done up until that point. He worked really, really hard for the team, unselfishly, and it was such a team performance today. I'm delighted with the two boys coming on and getting the goals, but as I say, to a man, they were absolutely outstanding.
How big a result is this for Hibernian, and how big a launch pad can it now be going forward?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Coming into the game, the league form wasn't good enough, we know that. I know it's a difficult situation at the club at the moment, but the incentive was before the game that if we won the game, we'd go above Aberdeen. So that had to be the motivation going into the game. I'm delighted we managed to do that, but also, if you look at the collective, we're now in the next round of the Cup, which is really important for the football club, for a good run in Europe, managed to perform. And for the players, the rewards for last year, going and playing at Villa Park, which is a fantastic experience for them, for the club, for the fans, which has been brilliant. And then to top it off, we've managed to go into the break now with 3 points at the end of it. So I think now when we reset, it's not been a bad start.
As far as auditions for the managerial job go, on the basis of today, it probably couldn't have gone much better. Very simply, David, is this a job that you want in the long term?
Listen, I've not had even time to think about these things, and I know I keep giving the same answer at the minute. I'm very much focused on what I've been asked to do, which is for these 2 games that I was in charge for, and I'm delighted with how it's went.
You've got the international break now. Have you been given any indication in terms of a timescale as to when a decision or an appointment is likely to be made? No, not really. Obviously, there's been a lot going on. The window is still open, all these things. So it's been very much a job to do until the weekend, which we've now done. And I'm sure now that that game's done and then the dust settles, there'll be a conversation having what's happening moving forward. Well done today. Thanks very much. Cheers.
David Gray, and not the first time he's been in this situation, but as we spoke about beforehand, Hibs man through and through, and he has just got a brilliant result here at Pittodrie to take Hibernian off the bottom of the table. As a board of directors, Willie, you have to be careful that you don't kind of get sucked up into the emotion, the hysteria. If there's been one good performance, one good win, if they're even seriously considering David, they have to take a longer look at him, don't they, before making any permanent appointment?
Well, they probably do, Richard. I think you're right in saying that just a couple of good performances is not going to, or it shouldn't influence the board of directors. I think when I look back here and Barry Robston's run when he got the caretaker manager position, it just got to a point where it was really difficult for any board of directors and any chairman not to give him.
But it was a run of results, a run of performances, and clean sheets and scoring goals and exciting the fans.
Yeah, and that's what it's got to be. I think that's what it's got to be for David Gray as well. But at the same time that Barry was doing that, Aberdeen were looking at other possibilities and other potential managers, and I think Hibs will be doing the same too. And all you can do is the thing is, at Aberdeen, they knew Barry Robson, they know David Gray at Hibs, so it's a case of Do they believe that the capability, the personality, the work that they're doing at the club is good enough to take that step forward? I think it might take a little bit more convincing in David Gray's situation, and I think Hibs will be looking at a more experienced manager, as Aberdeen did. But the longer they left it, the longer Barry kept getting results, then it almost became impossible not to give him it. And the results in the performances that he produced last season were sensational, and he's got to get back to that level of performance this season, because it hasn't been there as yet.
No, it hasn't. In terms of David Gray, in terms of that Hibernian post, John, is it like, the club, you understand the fans and thinking of the fans? Well,
for me, David, it's his testimonial year. I'm worried that it spoils his legacy. Listen, if they're going to give him a job, you'd never turn it down, and one day David Gray will be the Hibs manager. I've no doubt in that. To do that, I'm looking at Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen. These positions, I think you have to get these managers' jobs, you have to have experience. You have to be out there, have experience. Had a few failures, but come back for more with that experience. And I just feel that maybe
that's not the case currently, is it? With Barry Robson here and Stephen Naismith and/or Frankie McAvoy at Tynecastle.
And that's the trend that's going. In terms of the Hibs manager, I just laugh at it when I hear all the names and all that, and just keep them coming, because it's linked back to front for me. Because first and foremost, it's style of play, it's the identity of the football club, the style of play, the philosophy. Then you put the manager on that. Because if you're bringing a manager, I took over for Terry Butcher. Terry Butcher, fantastic manager up at Ross County.
Yes.
I went and I put my style on it. Terry went to Hibs. Style of play didn't suit Hibs. So Hibs need that identity, that philosophy, that style of play. Then you put the manager onto that. You don't do it the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, and I've heard that before. And you hear, obviously, people talk about Celtic have to play
Richard,
a particular way. But surely the Hibs fans, actually, it's not about the style of play, it's about winning matches, isn't it? And whichever manager does that is going to be the one they enjoy.
And that's what Barry was doing at Aberdeen.
Yeah,
that's
totally,
the problem.
Totally.
You need to have a philosophy. It needs to be a vision.
Yeah.
And you need to bring a manager in that's making these decisions to match that vision that will bring you success in 2 or 3 years' time. And if it's total football, then that's what we're going to get. You would never get, let's say, the Barcelona job, Jose Mourinho. Getting Barcelona job. He's a defensive coach.
Yes.
So I'm getting my point over, and that's how I see Hibs. I've watched Hibs for years. When I got to watch Hibs, I want them to be on the front foot, score goals, attack, get at teams, like I seen today with Johan and Boyle and all that stuff. That's what I want to see, and I want to see that every time I go to Easter Road. Richard, we're in the entertainment business. It's entertainment. That's what I want to see a Hibs team doing.
Right. I mean, it was Bobby Williamson, another of the former Hibs managers, who famously said, "If you want to entertain, go to the cinema." I'll just go about winning matches, which, to be fair, he did for a very long time as manager.
I hear all that about as well. What you just said, it's all about results, right? So if you're not getting results, where's the philosophy? You need the philosophy.
John, I honestly don't believe that directors and chairmen care about that. If you're winning football matches, and there are more punters coming in, and they're finishing higher up the tables, and there's more sponsorship and hospitality, more interest potentially in the club, that's what interests chairman and directors for me.
But what happens if you're doing it total football? You've got the philosophy, you've got the vision, and you're winning football matches.
I mean, it's all very well to have that, John, but the likelihood of having total football in the lower half of the Scottish Premiership, I think, is probably quite slim.
Well, maybe that's why the teams are not doing well in Scotland or not doing well in Europe. Maybe that's the reason why, Richard, because technically we're not good enough, and the fans, we'll have to educate the fans to say, hold it, we've got to make you know why you make passes and you play out of the back, so your other team jump on you. When they jump, then you get Johan and Boyle when they've got the grass to go into. That's what I want to see. I
think you were one of the first managers whose team I ever saw doing that. I had started having heart attacks then, and I still have them to this day.
It's about taking a risk. It's about taking a risk, but you're a footballer.
I think it's about taking a risk if you're confident in that your defenders can actually pass the ball the way you want them to pass the ball, John. So you can have this vision and you can have this attitude towards a game where you get the goalkeeper to pass. Now, I watched it here at the beginning of last season, and it was nonsense, absolute nonsense.
But that's when you recruit. you recruit the players that can do that.
Yeah, but if you've not got the players, then don't do it. That's what I'm saying. And you can't keep making the same mistakes, and asking the same players to make the same mistakes. And unfortunately, I watched that for a fair chunk of last season, which I couldn't believe my eyes at times. But listen, I would love to see front foot football, players passing the ball, interlinking, scoring goals, that kind of a style of football. But at the end of the day, John, do you not agree that it is about results? It is a results-driven business? And you're telling me, you've got directors sitting in that box, right, and you're not getting results, and the fans are turned against them. What happens?
100%, I agree with you. But you, as a coach and a manager, you have to stand behind your beliefs and your values. And another thing, that's when you go and recruit a certain style of player, like it can go and do that, can look after the ball, a technician and all that stuff. So recruitment's no throwing mud at the wall and hoping it sticks. Another wrong with Hibs, and I have to make this point, I'm sick to the back teeth of players going on about Hanlon and Stevenson, how I've never replaced them and all that stuff. That's the reason why. Because when they go and play, they're outstanding. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I've never quite understood that, I must admit, at times. People just... Is it just simply because they're homegrown, they're Scottish, they're unfashionable, if you like, Scottish lags? They want to see players out there.
Breeds contempt, doesn't it?
No, I mean, they both very, very much played their part this afternoon in what was a very good Hibs performance. They took all 3 points. That was to John's delight. He was also delighted that Motherwell, apparently he's a big Motherwell fan, John. Motherwell went to the capital and beat Hearts.
You're a rascal. You're a rascal.
Hearts nil, Motherwell 1. We heard from Stuart Kettlewell. Congratulations to him. We've heard from David Gray as well, his Hibernian team. He's in charge right now as they make a decision about the future of the managerial post. Brilliant win for Hibs. 2-0 here at Pittodrie. Lafondra and Doidge on target, as they deserve to pick up all 3 points. So let's hear what Barry Robson had to say about that.
Barry, just give us your assessment of a pretty disappointing afternoon.
Yeah, I think you had two tired teams there. I think you could see that. And credit to David Hibs, he's done really well today. I think you'd seen two tired teams. There was no energy, zip. There was nothing in the game, and that's not how we want to play. And I think that was a frustrating part, and it was always going to come down to a bit of magic or a set play, and that's what happened.
What are your thoughts on the 2 goals? Because I mean, I would have thought from a defensive point of view, 2 goals you could have done a lot better in terms of trying to keep out.
I've not. It was hard for me to see at the time. I need to see them back, Tyrone, to really. We'll assess all them later when I go back in there. But you can always prevent defensive goals, I think, and it's something that we will work on and look at.
We've got the international break. I would imagine it's coming at a good time for you. But this block of fixtures, Europe aside, 2 points from the opening 4 games. How concerned are you by that? How worried should you be? Because you heard the boos from the fans at the end there.
Well, not as concerned as coming back from Celtic. We had 8 players in the team that were on loan. So boos from fans are normal. When you lose a game, you get booed. Same as a player, same as a manager. That's nothing new to me. I've been in this game a long time. That fans have been brilliant for us. And that's never ever going to change. The support Aberdeen Football Club. I always hear about the other teams that are all there and they're all getting we're building a new team. We are building a new team. We've got all these players that have just come in the door. They've hardly introduced themselves to each other, so we will be fine. We've got real speed. We've got a good group. We've got some really good players, and once we get going, we'll be fine. I'm really relaxed about that. Listen, I'm annoyed today. They're on a learning curve, and what I will always say is, and it's fact, the 2 games we've really struggled on is after what we put into the Hacking games to take this club to one of the greatest European competitions, and it's caught our players out.
I guess going forward, Hearts and Hibs don't have the Thursday-Sunday thing to worry about over the next few months. You guys do. I guess it's just something you're going to have to learn to deal with, because it's going to be happening on a regular basis. Yeah,
so we've learned that now. We've seen that. We've got an international break coming. So we've saw that. Listen, I'd rather be in Europe. Well, I'd rather be going away. I'm Eintracht Frankfurt and pout all these games that the fans are going to have some great nights and all that. Here, is it more pressure? Yeah, but what are we in football for? We're in it for pressure. And this club, we've managed to get them in Europe, and It will be difficult. I know that. I know this is a difficult up until Christmas. We know, we get that, but it's not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is a long season, and we will be all right. We've got some real good players, and we're going to have some big nights here at Pittodrie. But we'll be all right.
Thanks a lot, Barry.
Thank you. Barry
Robson with his reaction to Tyrone. Look, we're almost at the end with it. Just a couple of things, and you as well, John, because you'd have experience too. You had longer runs in Europe, Willie, than John would have experienced. Now, I hear this constantly from managers and players now, and it seems almost like it's we're in Europe, so we've got this wee excuse to mention on Sundays if we don't do particularly well. I don't recall that being a particular issue in that generation when you were playing Wednesday, Saturday rather than Thursday, Sunday, so can't see that it makes any huge difference. They're being asked to play 2 games of football in a week. They're professional football players.
And it's a home game, Richard, as well.
And there was only one sub then.
That's true. No, absolutely true.
You could have said no subs, but I never played in that era. Yeah. But you're right, Richard. I don't think that's a valid excuse, and I didn't see two tired teams out there today, to be perfectly honest. I don't think Hibs looked tired, did they? And at times Aberdeen towards the end looked tired, so I don't think that can be an excuse. I don't think the European football can be used as an excuse. Maybe if you're travelling long distances, then you can factor it in, but you still can't use it as an excuse.
They spoke about it last week, the game at St Mirren. They come back from Sweden, which is a 2-hour flight from here.
Yeah, I know. It shouldn't affect you. And as you said, I played fair part of my career, being under pressure, playing midweek European games, playing league games, playing cup games, playing international games as well. Listen, you should be embracing that. That's what you're there to do. You're there, and I'll tell you what, we didn't have the fitness regimes that they've got now, and the support that they've got now, the sports scientists that they have. The nutritionists that they have as well, and the backroom staff. I mean, we used to run this club with 2 people at the helm, a manager and an assistant. They've got a huge array of people there to make sure that on a Sunday, on a Thursday, if you're playing in European games, that you can bring your A game to it. So I don't think that can be used as an excuse. I think it was a poor performance this afternoon. Barry's saying they'll be all right. I hope they will be all right, but they're not showing that they're going to be all right. I don't really see the signs there. He's talking about all these good players. All good players doesn't necessarily make a good team. He's got to have the team performing at a higher level than they performed today.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is the fans don't know yet if these are good players, because they've seen very little of them. In fact, some they've seen nothing at all of these players, and it's one thing, as you say, it's one thing the manager having that belief.
Richard, I just jump in there. I just go back. If you're in a winning team, there seems to be an extra spring in your step. When your team's getting beat, there seems to be, and you've not got confidence and momentum, it seems to be you're heavy on your feet, and that's what it looked like to Aberdeen today, especially once Hibs scored their first goal.
It is incredible, isn't it? I mean, Barry, I'm assuming Barry will have had the biggest budget of any Aberdeen manager in history.
Oh yeah.
Given the money, given the players that have been brought in, the number of undisclosed fees that have been paid, and yet they find themselves only just off the bottom of the table. It is just 4 games in. And Hibernian were, of course, they are 1 win and they're off the bottom, and they'll be looking for happier times ahead. I did look. I mean, Aberdeen after the international break, they're certainly their away to Hearts. They've got Ross County home and away in League and Cup, and they finish with a trip to Ibrox. It just doesn't look like a month that's going to garner full points, that's for sure. So a bit of work to do, and they will do so, no doubt, during the international break. David Gray spoke about that as well, about his club at Hibernian being able to regroup during that spell. And of course it'll be the same for all the sides who are not in action. 3 games in the Premiership today, 3 away wins. Celtic 1-0 at Ibrox against Rangers earlier. Motherwell 1-0 at Tynecastle against Hearts, and Hibernian with a fine 2-0 victory here at Pittodrie. In the SWPL 1, Spartans 0, Aberdeen 3. A full time there. Latest scoreline almost at the end. Hamilton 2, Dundee United 5. Similarly, Motherwell 3, Montrose 1. 5 minutes to go, Rangers 1, Partick Thistle 0, and about 20 minutes to go, Hibernian 2, Celtic 3. There is lots to look forward to across the week here on BBC Radio Scotland TV and radio. First and foremost, first up, 7:15, Sports Scene, BBC Scotland channel. Look out for all the highlights from the Premiership action, and indeed, in particular, the 3 games from this afternoon. From me, Richard Gordon, and everyone else in the Sports Sound team, enjoy your Sunday evening.